Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
The best way for us to win is to do it together.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
It's been special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
100%. Ready to go. It's been a long time coming, and I just can't wait to be out there.
That's why we play football in the SEC, trying to go get it done.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies. OB, did you know that we've outlawed the words Lone Star, rivalry, and Texas? We cannot no longer say it on the boards or on this show. So instead of saying Texas A&M, can't say it. It's just got to be A&M. You can't use the word Texas. You can't use the word Lone Star or rivalry. Can't. That's just apparently the rules. I didn't make them. I just follow them.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm always kind of a, rebel like all the guys from Texas. You know, when we were fighting for the Lone Star State, against the
Santa Ana?
Rival Santa Ana.
Santa Ana? We're just kidding. We're going to get into some football-related things here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Will be a couple things that came out of the teleconference yesterday and then also on Coach Elko's show in the afternoon, or in the evening, I should say. He did say that Connor Wegman is taking reps at practice this week, and the Aggies hope to have him available on Saturday. I still feel like we probably won't see him, but that's just gut. There's no insider information there. That's just my gut is probably another week of Marcel Reed and then reevaluate the situation for Missouri.
Right.
That's just a gut feeling.
Yeah, my guess is that Marcel Reed will be the starter, and if Connor is making that much progress, that he'll be available in case Marcel's struggling.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with another week of Marcel.
Well, I'll tell you what I am okay with. I'm okay with A&M if either quarterback starts and struggles, having somebody else
ready to roll,
and actually bringing him in if the other guy's struggling.
But let's play out this scenario. If A&M beats Arkansas with Marcel Reed, and they look good doing so, I think it's really hard to go to Connor against Missouri.
Right. And
now he's had one really good game, one good stats game.
I just think in basketball, you go to the guy with the hot hand, right? So I think if somebody is got the hot hand, you stay with them until they have an issue.
Right.
And if there's an issue, if you got somebody else ready to go in, then. But if things are going well, I just don't see the reason to upset the apple cart. So to speak. We can say apple cart, right?
You can say that.
Okay.
You can say that. You just can't say Samsung.
Okay.
Old man jokes. Anyway, look, I think you are in a very good position because I know like there's a mob mentality in college sports, and it's quick to hate the coach, quick to hate the starting quarterback, quick to love the backup. I 100% still believe that Connor Wegman can be an elite quarterback for this team. Okay, there's that. I believe that. I also believe Marcel Reed might be the makings of one also. Two things can be true.
Yeah, you can have two good quarterbacks on the same team. Heck, Ohio State won a national championship with the third string quarterback,
this is true.
right? I remember A&M had two quarterbacks on the same team that are both playing in the NFL now. Now neither one
and
of them
they both
transferred. and that's the other thing you run into. But
and they're two different types of quarterbacks.
Yes, they are.
Which I kind of like. Sometimes I want quarterbacks to feel the same because if the next guy comes to the playbook, it doesn't have to change that much. But there are certain things that Connor does that Marcel doesn't yet. And there are certain athletic traits that Marcel has that Connor doesn't have. And I think Connor's a great athlete.
I think Connor, to your point, and just making one example, I think Connor throws a bit. I think he's more accurate throwing downfield, on a 20 yards or more. Not that Marcel can't be accurate, because he's thrown some nice passes to Cyrus Allen and to THUR. But I'm saying, I think Connor is more accurate, even though Marcel can throw accurately deep. I just think Connor's more so. I think Marcel runs better.
Even though Connor runs.
Connor can run, and he can extend drives. I just think Marcel does it better. So,
and here's the interesting part. I think we saw a little bit of growth from the wide receivers in the last game. I don't think that they were as covered as I remember the previous games, even though there weren't a lot of plays down the field. But if you don't have wide receivers getting separation, then Marcel Reed adds that dimension of keeping the defense honest. And what Connor's really good at, throwing down the field, if there's nobody to throw to, then that kind of doesn't work.
Well, I do know that defenses, as long as Marcel isn't there, he's a freshman, they're going to test him.
Yep.
And defenses, I think, will continue to play 8 or 9 in the box and say, we're going to overplay the run and force the young quarterback to beat us with his arm. Let's see if he can read what we're trying to do in disguise and all those things again. I don't know that you can do that if Connor's out there.
Another one. Coach Elko says TJ Shanahan out this week.
Well,
how many centers do they have?
Well, it is crazy, the injury situation at center.
I'd like to know who the backup is in this situation.
I don't know. Could it be Dewberry?
Could be Cam.
Could it be Ashton Funk?
We want the Funk.
Take him. We're going uptown. Uptown to Dallas.
But it is a concern. Coley, just stay healthy, please.
Yes.
Right? Stay healthy. Whether yes, Cam.
Everybody stay healthy.
Please. I would like to see Cam Dewberry play, right? Yeah. There's others I want to see play, but I want healthy.
Yes.
I want you to play for healthy reasons, not for unhealthy reasons.
And it's like the quarterback. I feel very comfortable, obviously, with Coley playing center. The only thing I worry about, like you're saying, is how far do you have to go down before, if anything happens. So, yeah, healthy Coley I feel good about.
Coach Elko on the Aggie Football Hour says, Ja'Day Walker has dislocated his finger against McNeese. They popped it back into place. It's good now. It's all healed.
Excellent.
Well,
I'm a fan of Ja'Day Walker. We talked about that yesterday.
Other than a boneheaded mistake to start in the Notre Dame game. Other than that, which, by the way, we'd be upset with anybody, right? Because it was a 3rd and 1.
Hey, he's made up for it.
That play makes up for it.
Yeah. The way he's fought for that first down and then scored a touchdown. And, he's a tough guy. I like that. Mike Evans-ish. Not as good as Mike Evans.
You got to clarify.
But on that play.
How dare you say he's Mike Evans?
On that play, it was Mike Evans-ish the way he picked up that first down.
He also says on the Arkansas running game, which we've talked about all week on the show, when they have dual threats in the backfield, it makes it harder. The biggest thing is, like I always, is we have to win the line of scrimmage. Our defensive line has to control the line of scrimmage, and we have to be good tacklers. And Jaquindon Jackson, I'm going to release a video later on today of some of the insight that I got on Arkansas. He looks for contact. He wants to make contact.
Sounds like he's leaving on Moss.
Yeah. And you better wrap up because he's going to keep going.
Yeah. Run hard. And you know what? That's something I think I've seen in the past that A&M sometimes seem reluctant to do. Like, I made contact, you're supposed to fall down. And when a guy continues to run hard, too many times in the past, they've run through tackles.
Well, I'm going to dumb it down this game for everybody. This is how I'm going to dumb it down. You got 2 quarterbacks that can run, 2 backfields that can run, and 2 defenses that are pretty good. Okay? A&M's defense is better. Game over.
I would think.
I think they're better, yeah. I know that they have done really good at stopping the run. But if you look at the
last 2 games.
But what's his name? Jarquez Hunter only had like 12 carries in that game.
75 yards, 12 carries.
Yeah, so they abandoned the run. I feel like is what it felt like in that game.
They should have kept running
and I think Auburn rushed for 149 yards,
something like that.
So, I guess my point is, they've done really well. But if the competition ramps up, will they still be considered a very good rush defense?
I don't know, but here's what I'm going to be concerned about on the other side, because I agree with you. But which defense has been more prone to give up a big play, and which team in this game has more of a big play capability?
They absolutely have more big play capability than A&M. You know what else they have?
What?
The ability to throw more turnovers.
Well, that's true too.
I believe he's got, Mr. Green has got 4 interceptions on the year. He's been sacked 9 times.
9 times.
3 times in 3 games. And according to some that follow the team, sometimes it's his fault. It's not, the offensive line is better than it was last year.
Really?
But it's not significantly better, but it's better.
Okay.
He puts them in some, he decides to run sometimes a little too early.
Well, I would, you mentioned rushing the passer and all those things and dominating the line, but the Aggies, especially the defensive ends, I don't think they can just come in with reckless abandon. In this game, you're going to have the gap integrity and I played defensive end. Why am I having a containment?
Containment.
Because if he gets outside of containment, or if he finds a gap that somebody got out of, he can make it into a big play.
Arkansas, the number 1 team in the SEC at third down conversions. A lot of the reasons?
Because he's running.
He's running.
Yeah.
So third down.
That's why I was asking Elko about spying on Monday.
And I liked his answer.
I did too.
Because I figured it wasn't, all right, Torian, just stay with him.
That's how it started out.
Back in the day.
The genesis, is usually a safety.
Right.
And you'd say, hey.
Just stay wherever he goes.
You mirror wherever he goes. But yeah.
Which, by the way, sometimes I think it's okay to simplify it that easy, but they have their ways. They have their progressions. They have their areas of the field.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now you become the guy. I got to go here.
Right.
It takes a lot of communication.
Yes, it does.
All right.
An area that A&M's had some issues.
If you want to be a part of the conversation this morning, what do they need to do?
You can call us. You can text us. You can do.
Do you know the number? I'm putting you on the spot.
No.
If you were to guess, what would you guess?
I know. Doesn't it end with 1939?
979.
979. Well, I should always know that part.
693.
693. 1939. No.
1150.
1150.
I'm going to come back to
I know there's one number that has 1939, right? Because it's when A&M last won a national championship.
Maybe the other station?
Okay, maybe.
Their sister station. 979-693-1150. If you call it, we'll pick it up on the Boss Firearms hotline. If you text us, we'll answer it
Does
on the text line.
anybody know phone numbers anymore, by the way? I just hit the name and...
I bet you remember your phone number from when you were a kid.
I can remember my phone number from when I was like 5 years old because my mother drilled it into me so much. It's DA19927 in Dallas, Texas.
495-6571. That was my number in Mission Bend, Texas.
Yeah, my mom just, in case you get lost.
Let's see. Go behind the glass. Nick Savage, do you remember your childhood phone number?
I do, and it's still in use, so
okay,
I'm
don't give it.
I'm not going to say it out loud, but yes,
By the way, it's 713-412.
No.
But isn't it funny? See, my phone number started with DA, which would have been like...
Did you live on Mars?
No, but back in the day, for some reason, your phone number, it was just synonymous. You used the letters or the letters for the first two.
Nick, did you know that back in the day that we didn't do 281-214-979 to call like locally? You would just do the 7 digits. I don't think that was around in your time.
It wasn't, but I know that was a thing because some people still like when they jot out a number that they'll leave out the first 3. So I mean, it's
the prefix.
Yeah, prefix. There you go.
Prefix is what we call it here in the community. I go to the meetings. By the way, Nick, what's on your mind this morning?
Well, I was talking to Matthew Dawson, and he is, reliably informed me. I know everyone's tracking this number, but A&M's run defense haven't given up more than 100 yards in back-to-back games. One against Florida, one against Bowling Green. So if that trend continues, you figured A&M will be in a pretty good spot. But again, I guess they do like to air it out a lot. So like y'all mentioned, it's limiting the big plays. I think they'll be able to do it on the ground. Can they do it through the air? That's the question.
All right, so back-to-back games, A&M hasn't given up 100 yards on the ground. Bowling Green and Florida. Mm-hmm. If I tell you they'll do it against Arkansas, and I have to snap when I say it, they'll do it against Arkansas.
A&M wins.
Okay.
A&M wins easily.
If they keep them under 150 yards.
Can you tell me A&M's not going to turn the ball over?
1 turnover. Is that your stomach? Good times.
Feed this young man.
He's so hungry. I can hear that from 30 feet away.
150 yards.
I'm going to say 147 yards. Okay.
Okay.
And
no A&M turnover. One A&M.
One A&M turnover.
Yeah, I would be inclined to say A&M wins that game.
I would too.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw in Le'Veon runs for 96 yards.
Okay, now A&M's winning the game.
So the number
There's too
is
many good things in that scenario.
if you keep them under 150 and A&M rushes for 150, A&M wins?
With one turnover.
With one turnover.
You know, they beat Auburn basically because it was a turnover fest.
How many turnovers did Auburn have? 5
I think
in
they
that
had 5. They had 4 interceptions, and the fumble they had was like inside the 5.
Right.
And it rolled into the end zone.
Right.
And for a touchback.
All right, let's go to the Angry Elephant News.
The Hungry Elephant.
Social Center. We've got the Hungry Elephant.
The Hungry Hippo and the Angry Elephant.
Palomo. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on blast like that, but I
good.
heard something. I was like, did someone like somebody's hungry?
I'm a hungry guy right now. What can I say?
Do you have breakfast typically?
No.
Okay.
No, I
Why?
need to though. I don't know. Too early in the day. Just me.
See, that's why it's called breakfast, because it's early in the day.
Right.
If you waited longer, it would be lunch.
I guess. Yeah, you're right.
Are you a brunch guy?
I love brunch.
Okay.
Huge brunch guy.
Huge brunch guy. You go to the meetings?
No.
No, you don't even know what I'm talking about. All right, let's Nick's like, come on, David, stop. Please give me some updates.
We got a question from Trevor in College Station
Trevor!
right here. He's asking, who do you think will step up for wide receiver against Arkansas?
Ja'Day Walker.
That's as good a guess as any.
You know what? Wait. I'm going to take that back. I think Ja'Day's going to have a good game.
Okay.
This is the Jabri Barber game.
Might be.
This is the game.
You know. I think it is, and who it needs to be.
Who's that?
It needs to be Noah Thomas, because
he needs a good game.
All offseason we're saying, is Noah Thomas a number one? Is he the guy that you can, when you have to have it, that you can look to?
Yep.
And he's I think he's sharing the team lead in receptions, but it's only like 10. If not now, when?
I agree.
And by the way, Arkansas is 16th in the 16-team SEC in pass defense rankings.
Throw on those fools.
Well, I don't know how foolish they are. They
put a Z on there.
Did go to Arkansas.
Oh.
If not now, when?
What else?
Well, I have some exciting news here.
Exciting? Okay.
Try to contain your enthusiasm.
Kicker Randy Bond was named as a semifinalist for the Campbell Trophy. The award recognizes an individual as the absolute best football scholar athlete in the nation. Bond recently...
From Texas.
From Texas? No, in the nation.
I thought you said Campbell Award.
Yeah, the Campbell Award as the absolute best football scholar athlete in the nation for his combined academic success and football performance.
Okay, maybe it's a different. It's not. Maybe I've never heard of the Campbell Award. I heard of the Earl Campbell Award, so maybe I just don't.
Tyler
know.
Rose Award, which I'm a voter for.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, closet.
Oh
Texas
my God, closet Texas fan. Tito's vodka. What a loser.
No.
Anyway, go ahead.
Bond recently earned his undergraduate degree in aerospace engineering from Texas A&M.
Aerospace engineering.
Smart guy. You're right. I am excited about this information.
I know. Pretty good stuff.
Pretty good. Go eat something. Go get upstairs. Go get cheese nits. Go eat a.
Yeah, we have snacks.
Beef jerky, like a protein bar. Just please. I can't hear that again. That was weird. All right, we're gonna hit a break here. When we come back,
I think you'd have breakfast with coffee. Because we got TexAgs coffee that his uncle.
TexAgs coffee.
Gets us, his uncle. Those Palomo brothers, 3 of them, that's got to be the most impressive trio of brothers since Bonanza, since Adam, Haas, and Little Joe. Eduardo, Federico, and what was the other one? Fernando.
His dad.
That's why I knew he would know it.
Who's your favorite? If I had to put you on the spot, you got a favorite?
Well,
I don't think you should answer.
I will say this. Guayo showed me a great time down in El Salvador.
He's going to show you another great time, he told me. Another time. We're going to go. I don't know when, but we're going. All right, we'll hit a break here. Sorry for all the randomness. When we come back, Heisman Watch, Shirtlift Law Firm. You got a list? You checking it twice?
I have a list. Yes, I do.
All right. OB, look, I think it's time. When you retire from TexAgs, you become
it's time for me to retire.
No, not yet. And you go be a greeter somewhere, right? What I want you to consider is, I want you to go make some money on the side by watching sports. And then deciding more than or less than with our good friends at Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports, all right?
Yeah.
You love fantasies.
I do.
You love being alive daily.
Yeah, I do.
And you love sports.
It's 3 for 3, like
3
the
for
Quail
3.
or the Plummo brothers.
PrizePicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive $50 once you play in $5 lineups. Remember, it is you against the number. So you're going to pick, at 2 to 6 player stat projections. You pick more than or less than. And we're hooking you up beyond the $50 once you play in $5 lineups. You can get a win every Saturday or weekend in September. If Caleb Williams throws for a passing yard on PrizePicks, you will get a win, an automatic win. So, PrizePicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to win those $50 once you play in $5 lineups. It's PrizePicks.
Win money.
We're TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations a moment ago. We're at the Cool Zone. Right now, we're back at the desk, and it's time for the Heisman Watch, brought you by the Shurtleff Law Firm. They're a friend of our company, TexAgs, obviously, and we trust him with all of our legal needs. Call Shurtleff Law Firm when you need a lawyer for your business or personal issues. It is Shurtleff Law Firm. OB, I was looking through your list, and I think one of the gentlemen on the list will continue to be on the list if he starts playing again.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah,
right?
he's been dropping.
But we'll start off with number 5.
Number 5, I got Dylan Gabriel from Oregon, quarterback. Didn't play last week, but through 3 games, he has the nation's highest completions percentage at 84%. He's passed for 914 yards and 6 touchdowns for the undefeated Ducks.
Yeah, they're an interesting team because I think they've underwhelmed initially.
Yeah.
But a lot of teams have underwhelmed.
I don't know who's really good. Now, Georgia had the best win so far with the way they destroyed Clemson. But then they looked very beatable against Kentucky. But you know what? They tend to do that at least once a year.
Yeah, they do. But this is early for them to look. I mean, I think a couple years ago, was it last year or the year before, the Auburn game? That was late in the season.
Well, yeah, but Missouri has thrown some scares into them before about midseason.
Number 4 is the gentleman we were talking about earlier.
Quinn Ewers of Texas. Look, he's having a good year when he plays, but if you don't play, you got to drop. I think I had him number 2 on the list last week. He drops to number 4 because he didn't play. You know what? He's thrown for 691 yards and 8 touchdowns. He could have padded his stats last week when they beat ULM 51-3, but once again, he was out, didn't have that opportunity. So, you know, he has to fall on the order.
Yep, I agree with that. I'm looking. Texas is a team that I think they are very good. This is not a shot at. I don't think they're number 1 of the team in the country good, but at the current moment, outside of Georgia, I don't know who is. And again, and Georgia with their schedule and the way they looked against Kentucky, I'm still not sure either. But they have the reputation.
Yeah, Georgia will be number 1 if they win this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So number 3 on my list, Ashton Jeanty, the Boise State running back. You know, he's no longer leads the nation in running, but that's because he only played a half last week against Portland State. In that game, he rushed 11 times for 127 yards. He is averaging 10.4 yards per carry and 195.3 yards per game. He has 4 runs that have covered 68 yards or more. So I mean, he's having a big year.
He is having a big year. Number 2 on the list is a guy that I think he's going to be on the list all season long.
This has been my preseason pick. Jackson Dart, the Ole Miss quarterback. Yes, he's played against suspect competition, but he's doing what you're supposed to do. He's completing nearly 80% of his passing attempts for 1,554 yards and 12 touchdowns. He's also rushed for 90 yards and 3 touchdowns. Last week against Georgia Southern, 382 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 52-13 win.
Yep. And then number 1.
The pride of West Columbia, Texas, Cam Ward of Miami, the quarterback there. He's thrown for 1,439 yards and 14 touchdowns. Last week, he was against South Florida, completed 24 of 34 for a season high, 404 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yep, he's been fantastic. When he went to Miami, I thought he was going to be good, but he's been way better than I thought he would be. And you look at the ACC, like Miami, Clemson, who else? Like, who else really is a legitimate threat?
Louisville's pretty.
Yeah, Louisville. You think? I mean, we'll do our pick 6 tomorrow, but you do think Louisville?
They beat Notre Dame this week.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, in South Bend. I think so.
I'm not ready to go there
But I'm doing
yet.
so well.
I had a pretty good week, believe it or not.
Yeah, I was on my way to having a good week until the Aggies had to keep settling for field goals in the red zone.
Yep. But hey, Randy Bond was better last week.
He was very good.
He was excellent.
He's not good enough to get on this Heisman list.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in kickers.
Kicker?
No, I'm not saying that they can't win awards, but not
Yeah,
Heisman.
well, one time I saw a punter win the a bowl game player of the game.
Which was this just recently?
It was about five or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas punter. What was his name? Dixon?
Yeah.
He was the MVP of the Texas Bowl. I kid you not.
Yeah. All right, let's hit a break here. When we come back, Esteban McGee. He's actually already here.
Yeah, he's here.
We'll talk to Steven.
With his beautiful wife and even more beautiful daughter.
Opie, when you have a disagreement with people, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you guys disagree with, I don't know, whatever it may be, something sports related,
Yeah.
right? And it gets fiery,
Yeah.
right? And then you're like, you say some things that you wish you didn't say.
Right.
They definitely said some things they wish they didn't
been
say.
there.
And then you realize, what are we arguing about? It's
Yeah.
not even that important, right? Like
Yeah.
we're arguing about arguing.
Yeah, we need to come to a common ground, find peace, maybe break bread together.
Break bread and break meat.
Yeah. Oh, that's even better.
Just bunch of meat.
You ever take a piece of sausage and just rip it in half and enjoy it that way?
No, usually I just take the whole thing.
yeah.
Get right into it.
You know,
And especially for 1775. But they cut it for you.
1775. In fact, if you wanted to build bridges in a relationship and there's been maybe some hard feelings and you want to smooth things over, or maybe you're just wanting to impress somebody, you take them to 1775. I'm telling you, it's Texas barbecue at its best. I had people in a few weeks ago from Notre Dame. I didn't take them to 1775. They were from Notre Dame.
Yeah, you don't want them to have too good of an experience.
Because then they may not want to leave. They might not want to go back. We got enough transplants here.
This is about to go a different direction. 979-492-6241. I don't care if you like Notre Dame, Arkansas, or Texas. Actually, anybody else, you can go to 1775.
Build bridges.
The website, 1775txbbq.com. Our TexAgs Live, we're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Our QB1, it's Go Hour, by the way, presented by the warehouse at CC Creations. Our QB1, Stephen McGee, with us, Paragon Financial's Best. What's up, buddy?
Morning.
So we were talking at the break, the mood, the vibe. It's kind of weird, right? Like, we're getting closer to game day, so I think people are starting to get antsy again, but it has been kind of a subdue kind of week because of the performance against Bowling Green.
Yeah, maybe I'm trying to think of an event, OB, where it was a win, but maybe it didn't really feel like a win.
Right.
You know, it was like you walk away and you're thinking of all the things that could have happened. Like, oh, well, if they make the field goal at the end of the game, right? The kid missed whatever, 20-yard field goal.
Yeah.
And then they have 4th and goal, and instead of kicking a field goal, they're going for the win.
Yeah.
Right? And then let's not forget that a couple plays prior, they had their best player on a little seam bender for a touchdown. He was wide open, and then they threw the interception. Yeah. Do you remember that? And our safeties are in the end zone? Like, that's where my mind goes, and I don't know if fans are like that too. You're thinking, man, like.
The what ifs.
Yeah, like these what ifs. And I know they're going to say, well, you know, there's some things that we could have done, you know, the fumble, whatever. It could have changed the game our direction too. And I agree, like the big throw in the post, whatever it may be. But it is kind of scary that you were a field goal away from potentially losing that game.
But you didn't.
But you didn't.
You didn't.
A win's a win's a win, baby.
It is, but I get it because, again, what's the aim here? Is it to beat teams like Bowling Green, or is it to win SEC championships?
There you go.
And that's the lens I look at. Was that performance against Bowling Green, even though they're good, they're obviously good, they gave Penn State off.
Yep.
But does that make you feel like you can win an SEC championship playing like that? So if your goal is to beat Bowling Green,
you did it.
Celebrate.
Amen. I love it. That is 100% fact. That I couldn't.
But here's my goal, is to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Because, yes, that is my ultimate goal, is to win an SEC championship. I don't know how realistic it is in year one of Coach Elko. It might be. But my goal, you should beat Bowling Green. I think you should beat Arkansas. I think you should beat Auburn. I think you should beat South Carolina. And let's try to get some of those other games that maybe you won't be favored in and maybe steal one. That, to me, would be a successful season.
Yeah. Finding a way to steal one is going to be very important. But to your point, you got to beat the next team on the schedule. Right now, it's Arkansas. You better go 1-0 against Arkansas, because you don't beat Arkansas, you're thinking to yourself, man, there's not a lot of wins left on the schedule, right? So they're a team that's, I mean, every team in the SEC is going to be a tough out. But if you're looking at the ones that are beatable right now, based on what we saw last week at least, the turnover fest and quarterback issues, we're going to have the advantage at a lot of positions. So you got to win this one. You got to check this one off the list.
And yet, so many times, as you know, A&M has gone into that game with clearly a better team, and they've had to sweat it out. Right? It might be a field goal that hits the top of the upright.
True.
You know, or it may be a bad. I wish Brett Bielema was there, because no matter how well they played or how poorly A&M played, you could always count on Brett to make a huge mistake for A&M to win.
This is true. This is so true. And I fully expect this to be a tight football game. Like, I would be surprised if it's a blowout in our favor. Not completely surprised, obviously, but I think we're
like
good
a Florida performance would surprise you in this game?
No. Florida performance would not. And I guess your point's well taken, but I would expect it to be going into it that it's going to be a 4-quarter game, and hopefully we pull away and win the line of scrimmage like we did against Florida on both sides of the football late, right? And we show our, just superiority up front, right? That's where we got to win football games. And so I don't go into these types of games and think, 42-7.
Right.
I just don't see that happening this year, because that's not our MO offensively either, right? I mean, we're ball control, run the football. That's what our ingredient to success is, which keeps teams in it, right? But it also keeps the ball out of their hands. Like, if we were to play Ole Miss, it's probably a good thing, right? Because you don't want Jackson Dart to have 15 possessions. You want him to have 8 or 9, right?
Give me the exact same game against Bowling Green, but against Arkansas, I'm going to feel good about it.
Yes.
There you go. All right, we'll say.
So Callie put some notes together for us. Pass efficiency, offense efficiency. Arkansas is number 75 in the country, A&M 60. Pass defense efficiency, Arkansas 75, A&M 100. Rush offense efficiency, Arkansas is number 4, and A&M is number 33. So just some numbers to think about.
Yeah, but you also got to throw in the company you're keeping.
Opponents. Yeah.
True. This is very true. Stats are very skewed this point of the year, but I do think there is some truth in A&M stats. I mean, I think we're going to produce in the run game, but have we been able to produce in the run game early? Right? That's something to keep in mind. I think momentum's a funny thing. In the wins that we've had, we've scored early in the games. Can we score early if we're trying to run the football? Yeah, and then to your point, Opie, yeah, we got to keep scoring. It's not a one-possession game, but I certainly think that starts produce winners, and getting a good start is important. Getting your quarterback in a rhythm, right?
Right.
We heard Elko say that at halftime, right? He came out and looked like he was going to win the Heisman after the first series, and then we just went downhill. So I think it's about keeping him in the rhythm, getting easy completions, and then your ability to run the football early in the game. I think late in the football game we'll be able to we'll start winning the line of scrimmage, but is it too little too late? That's my concern. And then the back end, but not really concerned about the back end against Arkansas as much.
Maybe not as much, but at
Always
some
a
point,
concern.
well, at some point, what's been the big question about A&M's receivers? Can they get the separation? Can they be dominant? Well, if you can't do it against Arkansas, who are you going to do it against?
True.
Did you see growth from Marcel? There's a lot of he missed some throws, but there's some things that you see on the film wait, but actually he's grown in this area.
That first drive, he looked unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, the ball was coming out quick, accurate. He was decisive. And then, we know what he can do in the run game, right? I mean, the explosive play, the way he can change the game very quickly with his legs. That's never been a question mark. I think for Marcel, the biggest question mark I have is the highs are really high and then getting the lows not to be so low, right? You've got to it's all those plays in the middle. So the Aggie fans, we love to fixate on the highs because they are incredible.
Yeah.
They are fun to watch. It's a highlight reel, and I'm right there with you. It's all those plays in the middle, right, where it's one that you maybe as a fan don't really pay much attention to, but it was a missed throw in the flat, or maybe it was a misread. There's a guy wide open that you didn't really see. Or not seeing a guy that's hot. Those type of plays for a young quarterback, I think you want to see him be very consistently good at it. When those start to happen, that's when you start making progress. But I think just like any quarterback, it's for Marcel, hey, number one is there. He's really good. The ball's out. He's decisive. He's accurate. But it's when number one's not there and I got to progress, right? And I've got to mature as a quarterback. Hey, I don't like it. And that's when you see him get in trouble. He forced 2 post routes in scoring territory 2 weeks in a row where we had other guys open. And those are the type of disaster plays against a good defense that can cost you.
Would you be looking more to the tight end first, or is that just something that as the game progresses, that the tight end you just find him here and there, or do you start like looking for him?
It's a great point. I think where the tight end comes into play more so than trying to target them specifically is the personnel groups and the mismatches they provide, right? So we've talked about Colin Klein being able to inject his will into a game from a play caller's perspective. Well, 12 personnel has invited base defense, which puts out the extra linebackers, right? Not the extra nickel defender. And to me, anytime you get your tight end matched up against a true linebacker, you have 2 of them, right? That's the mismatch you want to exploit. We talked about the running back in the early weeks trying to get separation. We had Moss against Notre Dame. That was the only separation we really had. But to me, it's how are they going to match up? And then what are they going to do defensively? And it generally invites a lot of single high with that, bringing a safety down the box to try to slow up the run game. And to your point, OB, that's when the tight ends really come into play where you can take some shots. It's because they have an extra linebacker on the field and generally single high defense, which we love to throw against. And Theo's made some great plays, and I love to see Trey Watson continue to get. There's a lot of opportunity there, but then the neck-ins, right? You fake the run, and then you get on the edge, and generally speaking, the tight end is who? It's number one read, right in the flat, right? You always see that guy. That's always one, right? Boom, boom, give him the ball, easy yards. But there's a lot of pressure on Colin Klein right now, in my opinion, to do 2 things. Right now, make sure you're calling plays that get your quarterback settled, right? Easy completions.
Yep.
That's number one. Very important for any play caller to make sure your quarterback is comfortable early. Number 2 is how do you find mismatches? How do you get guys open schematically? And it's with personnel groups, it's with shifts, it's with motions. It's trying to disguise what you're doing and doing it in a million different ways. That is going to be a challenge in the weeks to come because, as we all know, there's not a lot of I guess let me say this. There's not a lot of speed on this offense other than Marcel.
Can I ask him one more question real quick?
Of course.
So both of these quarterbacks on both teams, especially if it's Marcel, they can really stress the defense with their running ability. So, the defense is going to have to adjust to that. So I want to ask you, what did you do to take advantage of it every time that you went out there and was facing a spot?
They weren't. Stop it. There's no comparison, but let's.
When you faced a spy.
When I faced a spy, we did the same thing. We did that short option to the boundary. It didn't matter. 2 high, 1 high, spy, no spy, baby. We were running it, and we were all for it. But I will say this. If I'm a defensive coordinator right now, I'm thinking twice about running man coverage because even if you've got that one spy in there, which a lot of times is who? A linebacker, he ain't getting Marcel. Let's be honest. That's like you and I trying to catch Swope.
Is he getting Taylor Green on the flip side, though?
Yes.
Okay.
So I watched just enough of him. I haven't watched a lot of him, but just enough of him to say I'm not really concerned about Taylor Green. He's a good athlete. Don't hear it wrong, but he's not Marcel Reed athlete.
All right.
Do you think?
He's a lot bigger.
Well, he's bigger.
So he's harder to bring down, I guess.
Maybe.
Kind of like Steve McGee.
I was going to ask one last thing. This question means nothing to the big picture, but I'm just going to ask. If Florida and Arkansas played, who would you pick to win? And before you answer that, do not take away points from Florida because of their schedule so far, because they played a very good Miami team and they lost to a very good A&M team. I'm just saying, talent for talent, what you think about, not where you think Billy Napier's going and Sam Pittman, because both of those guys could be dead man walking as coaches. Who would win?
I'm interested to see what OB's going to say here. I would still pick, I would definitely pick Florida if I knew Mertz was playing the whole game.
I'd pick Florida.
You would? How about you, OB?
I'd take Arkansas. Mississippi State ran for 240 yards against Florida.
It's true.
I think Arkansas just run at them and all day long.
At this point, though, Mertz is the better quarterback for Florida.
I agree.
Mertz is the better quarterback for Florida.
Yeah.
Today, yes.
For today. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll do a little buy, sell, lease. Right now, Brazos Running Company, located at Century Square. They are Aggie owned and operated. They're a specialty running store, and they have all the top shoes and brands that you need out there. When you are in the search for a great shoe, you go there. They're going to test your gait as you're running on the treadmill. They're going to find the right shoe. If you're a toe striker, a heel striker, whatever it may be, let Brazos Running Company find you the right shoe. They've got Brooks, On, Hoka, you name it. And they want to make sure that you know that they are the place in town to get yourself some Vuori and Birkenstock. It is Brazos Running Company, located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill, is Brazos Running Company. like, hey, I think I hear my voice. TexAgs Live. We're finally on. Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Ryan Swope's in the background hanging out. He'll be with us here in a few minutes. Buy, sell, lease. I want you to buy, sell, lease trajectory of programs for 2024. 2024. Okay?
Rest of this year.
Just 24.
Just 24, not future.
Making a run this year.
Making some kind of whatever run there in their ballpark.
All right.
Arkansas. Oklahoma. Vanderbilt.
Wow, this is interesting. Oklahoma has a tough schedule and quarterback issues potentially. You know what? I'm going to go weird here. I haven't followed really any of these teams. I've seen Vanderbilt playing, giving people heck. I'm going to buy Vanderbilt just because it's Vanderbilt and everyone throws shade at them. I think Saban threw a little shade at them.
They got a good quarterback.
Talking about an easy place to play. Quarterbacks moving around, making plays. I'm going to lease Oklahoma just because it's a proud program. They obviously have a lot of talent. They have a good defense. Their offense is just struggling right now. If they can figure out what they're doing offensively and this new quarterback provides a spark plug, then maybe they can be a little bit better. I'm selling Arkansas all day.
Selling Arkansas. So by selling Arkansas, you feel pretty good about A&M this weekend.
I do. I feel really good about it. If we don't, I'm not going to say that. Go ahead, OB.
I'm going to buy Arkansas.
I like how you use. I'm going to wait.
I'm going to buy Arkansas.
Okay.
So you're worried about this weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am. I'm buying Arkansas.
We're worried. Not to say we're not worried. We're always worried.
It's SEC. You're always going to worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy Arkansas. I am going to lease Vanderbilt.
I knew that was coming.
I'm selling OU for the reason that you just said. The schedule that they have remaining. Right now, they're ranked. Last week they were like number 15, and I don't know what they're ranked now, but I'm sure they're still in the top 20. I question whether Oklahoma is going to win 7 games.
Yeah, they're going to be a victim of their own schedule. Now, if you said of those 3, who's going to win the matchups, I'd take Oklahoma all day. I think they're just going to be the schedule victim here, and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is a perfect example of there's no easy weeks in the SEC.
Yep.
You better show up. You better bring your A game. And for this A&M football team, you play like you did against Bowling Green, you're probably not going to win.
Give me your OU wins here now. They've got 3 wins now. Auburn.
Yep.
OU wins. Texas.
No.
But you never know.
But I know this year.
Well, who are you going to pick?
I'm picking. Texas.
What if Quinn is still? When is that game?
That's in October.
What if he's still tweaked up? I mean,
I hope.
Okay, South Carolina.
Yep.
You're going to take, Ole Miss.
No.
Maine. We'll give them Maine.
Yeah, that's 3 more wins.
Alabama.
No.
Missouri.
Maybe Missouri.
LSU.
They're not going to win both of those.
No, they're going to win. I think they win one of those.
So
4 wins.
4 wins. So what does that put them at? 7?
7 and 5.
You're right. That's tough. That's a tough draw.
If Texas had Oklahoma's schedule, we have 10 seconds on this.
Are
they winning 9 games?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would say 9. They'll beat LSU. They're more complete.
All right, OB, thank you, sir.
Yep.
When we come back on TexAgs Live, Ryan Swope will join us. Got a lot to talk about with Swope. That's next on TexAgs. TexAgs Live presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Still got our QB1, Stephen McGee, with us, and Ryan Swope joining us. Swopey, what's up, buddy?
Howdy, Ags. How we doing?
Man? So, tell me if I'm right. I feel like you are typically optimistic. Is that a fair, I guess it depends.
It depends.
But you can be very optimistic, right?
Yeah. I think so.
He's always optimistic. He's always my partner in member guest golf tournament. It doesn't matter how many we're down.
We're coming
This
back.
dude is always optimistic, and I've seen it play out with
bad and good.
Well, no, this is my favorite Swope moment. This is the competitive greatness. This is why he's always optimistic, is because he always finds a way to win. You know, he's got that in him.
Yeah.
It was hole 17 at Miramont for me when you hit a 2-iron, 250-yard par 4 over water, got danger all around it. We're down on the bet. What does he do? He hits it to 15 feet. Tap in birdie, missed the eagle putt, but it doesn't matter.
He puts you in position to win.
The putt.
I hadn't found anything for the last 9 holes, and I was pessimistic. Swope, optimistic. He's like, let's go, baby. Threw me on his back.
Were you that way in a game, football-wise? Like, you guys were down 10 points, 17 points, you would believe, yeah, we got a chance here.
Oh, yeah, I wanted the ball.
Yeah.
For sure, baby. Give me the ball.
So.
But, no, I'm optimistic about what's at stake this weekend. I think that we've got a great opportunity to do something special. I think last week, I think that was a really good football team. They were well coached. I think Bowling Green will look back and they'll be ranked at the end of the season, and it'll be a good win for us. I think it was a good game to get us ready for this tough stretch we're about to go on.
It's sometimes good, right, to get hit in the mouth?
100%. Yeah. 100%.
So here's my issues with what you just said. Not about what you said, but because I do that too. And unfortunately, when I've done that in the past, it bites me in the butt. Appalachian State, man, they're going to be ranked. Miami? Oh, God, that's one of the best defenses we're going to face. So, and I feel like when I say it, the opposite happens. So that's why I'm like,
I'll say it for you.
Thank you. I'm going to ease my way into that.
I'll say it for you. I thought that they were a good football team.
They played hard, right?
They played hard. They were well coached.
They were ready.
Their defense, they were well coached in the back end. And then offensively, they were able to run the football, and we didn't. I think it was a good test leading up to Arkansas, and I do think that was a pretty good football team. I mean, we could have lost that game very easily.
Yeah,
so
very easily.
What would the mood be like then? Holy smokes!
Yeah, but a win is a win in this league, and I think moving forward, it was a good test. We've got some. I know these guys watch the film and learn from their mistakes, and they're out there, getting better this week, and I think we've got an opportunity to do some big things against Arkansas. So we'll see.
You feel like I don't feel like we've even seen close to the potential of what this team could be.
100%. I mean, I think we saw glimpses of it against Florida.
Yeah.
But still, we didn't play a complete 4-quarter football game.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a young team. We're learning. People are still, you get a new coach, new system. You got to learn it. So everybody's kind of probably going about 90, 85%. There's a few guys that are maybe ahead of the learning curve. But once everybody buys in and they start feeling comfortable and they flip it to 110%, I think we've got a chance to compete, from here on out.
Do you think that's
just consistently stacking is the hardest part?
Yep, getting there, right?
Yeah.
It's all that. How many games can you win between now and when that happens? When the lights come on, everything's clicking, the team's gelling, you know who you are, what you got to do to win football games. That's so important. And you just, the optimistic case, you say, hey, like we got through Bowling Green, they're a good football team. Where they are, and it doesn't matter. You still won, right? It was a learning moment, and you were able to be a better football team without it costing you an L. Now, it's going to get harder and harder with each week.
Don't you think that's part of the frustration, though, is past failures? People are just so starved to see the team that we think we're signing up for, and we haven't seen it yet. You're a third away of the season. You really haven't seen the offense gel. You've seen them run the ball at will, but you haven't seen the offense gel, and you've seen these big plays on defense. And I think what people do is they look at it like, all right, well, what's going to happen when they take on Texas? What's going to happen when they play LSU? What's going to happen when they take on Missouri? And I think that's why there's this, you can't do what you did against Bowling Green against these other teams.
Well, I think you got to reset your expectations to the reality of how good of a football team can we be. I think that's the number one question is probably came into the year thinking, well, it's not a 10-2 football team. Right? Yeah. If you were that person, then you're probably thinking, man, I'm pretty disappointed because it's pretty obvious now we're not a 10-2 football team. We just don't have enough guys, in my opinion. The two red flags for that happening are explosive playmakers. Like, who is that other than Marcel? We can't have your quarterback have to be the explosive guy. Like, that doesn't make sense all the time. And so then on defense, it's the back end. We're going to play LSU. We're going to play Texas. And I don't care who. There's going to be capable quarterbacks. And no offense to the kid from Bowling Green, he did a good job. That is not the benchmark of good quarterback play. And if he was able to exploit us, think about what a good quarterback is going to do. Thank God we're not playing Jackson Dart today.
Right. Well, we're not going to play him at all unless we make it to the playoffs.
True.
So when I look at this team, though, I don't think they're a 10-2 team. But I look at their schedule, I'm like, I think most of those teams are beatable. So why not be a 9-3, knocking on the door 10-2 team? Not that I believe they're going to go 10-2. My point is, I think you should and can beat Arkansas. And if you do that, then I'm going to pick us to beat Missouri.
Yeah. Missouri's got question marks, don't you think?
They all got question marks, is my point.
I watched Missouri.
I don't think their quarterback's as good as everyone makes them out to be.
No. They're a good team. They've got a good defense.
They're good, but they're not unbeatable.
Yeah. No, we could. I mean, if we play Texas A&M football, and we should focus on Arkansas really, but if we can do that day in, day out, there's no reason why we can't compete every single game. The rest of this season, I look at those games, if Marcel can go out there and ball and do what he does, and our defense can go out and tackle, create turnovers, swarm to the football, I think we can compete. I wouldn't have told you that, 3-4 weeks ago. I think what I saw against Florida gave some optimism, some hope.
Yeah.
And so, did I see it last week? No, I think we were a little lackadaisical. To what McGee was saying, we lack explosive plays, playmakers, receivers. Those guys have got to step up and start making plays. Bottom line, we got to create separation.
Do you think that's going to happen, though? Can it happen?
I think
Can a guy start making plays?
Marcel gives our receivers a better opportunity of it happening.
But I'm saying this as a receiver perspective, and you're the expert here, say, hey, like, if it hasn't happened by now, like if these guys haven't separated, if they're not getting wide open in coverage, I mean, I think
it could be a problem. Yes.
Okay, it's not like that's just going to magically emerge. So you're going to have to scheme them open. And granted to say, I guarantee if Noah Thomas was sitting here, he's saying, well, I was wide open on the post route, I had separation, and I agree with that. But to your point is, how consistently can we get separation? And then there's going to be, you're going to have to make some tight window throws too.
It just really takes one guy, right? Like
reliable.
One guy can open up everybody else.
Who's Mr. Reliable? Who is that?
I like Barber.
Yes.
See, I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful
the Russ continues to shake off Barber and that he can be that guy. He's 2 weeks in off being an injury. I mean, I know the expectations got to be tampered down a little bit because he's probably just now getting into full football shape. But Bussy, obviously, in the run game has done some good things. Moss is a tough runner. I don't know if Moss is I don't know how to say this. Like, Moss is a great running back.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if he's an explosive running back. Like
he's north and south. You need, 3-4 yards.
Tough yards.
A stretch play or in the A, B gap. You hand it to him.
And I think what we're really searching for, and to Swope's point, is you got to have somebody. I think if I'm recruiting or if I'm saying what's missing is speed.
Yeah.
Right? Do you feel like and it's not just this year. I feel like in the last couple.
Separation, speed, explosiveness, quickness.
Who's the Christian Kirk or who's
Couldn't it be Bussy?
Anaya Smith.
But I'm saying, like, who's the threat to go 90 over the top? Where they say, hey, man, I'm scared to death if we play single high against Tyreek Hill because what's going to happen?
Right.
He's going to go 25 miles an hour over the top, right?
I think that could be Cyrus Allen.
Maybe. I don't know.
I do. I see glimpses of it. But I think that could be him. I don't know.
I really hope so.
I feel like he's playing every week. He's playing more and more confident. But yeah, receiver room, we've got to be better. But bottom line, we got to be better.
You said earlier you got to play Aggie football, and to me, Aggie football right now is dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
What we saw in Florida.
What happens? Yeah. What happens?
It opens up Cyrus Allen for a 72-yard touchdown.
Exactly.
And what does it do on defense?
Oh,
it masks the back end.
Yeah.
You're getting pressure on a quarterback. It's amazing the difference. It's not just getting sacks. It's when you're around his feet. If they can feel that
he's uncomfortable
right here, that affects throws more than people know. That sucks as a quarterback. Like, you're sitting back there, you're like, I feel this. What is that? And you're like, and you don't make a normal throw, and all of a sudden it's here, and a guy's able to get back into play, or it's it's back here, and a guy drops it. So if you don't win the line of scrimmage in the weeks to come in the SEC,
we're going to get run over.
Yeah. So you got to run the football. That's going to be a big test early. Can we run the football early?
But do we all agree that's an area that we feel much better than we felt in the last 3 years?
True, but to Swope's point is right now, my confidence in our run game is not necessarily just the offensive line. I think it's more so that Marcel will be able to pull the ball if they're diving on our back in the zone read games and get explosive plays, right? That's different. If you just said, hey, we're going to hand the ball off and be successful early in football games, I'm not convinced of that yet. I know we've run the football well, but to me it's been later in football games, right, as opposed to
wearing them down.
Early, if you take away Marcel.
But I think Marcel helps us run more effectively in between the tackles because you run a zone read. As a defensive coach, it's hard to game plan for Marcel Reed.
No doubt.
And so they're your linebacker, your safety coming downhill, and you're doing a zone read. You're telling me that defender on the end is thinking that he's going to hand the ball off, or if he's kind of staying on his toes, holding back, making sure Marcel doesn't keep the ball and take off for 50?
That's a hard. Worst job.
That creates a problem.
You know the worst job on the field? So in the zone read, that end, whenever he dives down and takes it back, it's going to be a pull. But they've had this safety coming down the box. And guess who his responsibility is? Marcel. But guess what? He's got Marcel in about a 20-yard wide box. Right. That's a bad feeling as a defender, bro. And we've seen
You're on an island, man.
So let me ask you this.
We saw it. We saw it last week.
It creates problems. And I think he gives us a good chance to win.
But that's my point is that problem is what allows this run game to be better than what I think it actually is. So I think it's mask it a little bit.
Yes.
I'm still high on Connor. I want to make sure I say that out loud.
Yeah.
I'm still very high on Connor. For this particular team, this 2024 team, what we know about him so far, Marcel might be a better fit for right now. But if you did get some separation from a wide receiver, that does change the conversation, right?
100%. Different story, 100%. I think the two things right now for Marcel is, number one, I think for Colin Klein, this is more of his breed, MO offense, right? Like if we're in the West Coast system with, Shanahan, it's look at Brock Purdy, right? I mean, this guy's going to be a $65 million quarterback that can't run from here to that door. But you get in this system where they want to run.
Brock Purdy can run.
Well, he can run, but you know what I'm saying. Like what they're asking.
I'm thinking
him
like
to do.
Matthew Stafford.
There you go. Maybe a little bit. He's a better athlete than people give him credit for, sure.
Yeah.
But on the flip side is, to your point, I think the mask of the weakness of this offense is wide receiver. And what can Marcel bring this offense? I think he's going to force defenses to play a lot of single high, which does what? It opens up those easy window throws if they're playing zone, right? If you play man, what's the concern for a defense? I've said this all along, is with Marcel, those guys run off. Their backs are to the quarterback. It's you and a linebacker. And that you better have a dang good pass rush that's disciplined in their lanes to keep him in the pocket. Because if you don't, it's game time.
Right. You're exactly right.
So to Swope's
We're
point,
going to get more zone.
It forces easier throws for these wide receivers, right? But as I said last week, and OB's point earlier is our goal at A&M is not to beat Bowling Green and be happy with the win. I agree with that. We're trying to win championships. My question, and this is what Marcel needs to show in the weeks to come, is can you be a championship quarterback? That's the question. It's not just what do we have to do today to try to win football games. It's
do you think he has potential?
Unbelievable potential. Yes.
He's young.
But very wrong.
I'm saying, do you think
the difference is the championship quarterback, you've got to make those touchdown throws, right? So last week we saw
he missed a couple,
right? And so that's where he can make big steps of improvement of like his feet. You know, on those missed throws, you'll see his feet. He's hectic, right? And so if he can just what he did on the first drive, feet were settled. Balls out on time. It's accurate. That was impressive. He does, if that's the kind of passer he is, he's going to win. Well, I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman, but he's going to be a Heisman type player.
Right.
That first drive.
Do you agree? For us to win.
You nailed it. Yeah.
For us to win, to beat a Georgia, he has to be a complete pass. Like we're not good. We're not
he's
good
not there
enough
yet. But you think
as a football team.
You think he's so young? His second career start. I mean, do you think he's taking the right steps?
He's got to make those throws.
Yeah. Absolutely, he is. I mean, like he is. This is a whole different element that I think we've really ever seen before. I know Johnny was a great athlete, but Johnny ran a 4.7.
Right.
This kid, I don't know.
A 4.5 guy, I think.
Is he? I would say he's probably 4.4, 4.3. Like this kid.
Google that. See if you can find that information.
It's a really different element of speed, but it's not just like Reggie.
He can wiggle.
Reggie McNeil was the fastest quarterback I've ever played with or against, and he ran like a 4.3. I'm guessing maybe a 4.4 at the combine, but Reggie was really fast straight ahead. Vince Young was not near as fast as Reggie, but he was super shifty.
Shifty, yep.
This is what's unique to me is Johnny was very shifty, but not super fast straight ahead. This kid has a little bit of
Lamar.
both.
He's
got
Lamar
like a
in him.
Lamar.
He's got a little Lamar in him.
Lamar.
A young Lamar.
Michael Vick. Now, the question I've always had is, and I brought the stats up last week, and I would say it for Lamar, I'd say it for all of them is, who's winning championships?
Right.
And why?
Yeah, you did say.
And he's got to stay healthy. That's the concern I have. He took some big hits
100%.
last week.
So, are you surprised that the offense hasn't done any new wrinkles yet? Or do you think that starts now with real SEC play coming? Because he is a young quarterback, so you got to kind of do it, and also the level of opponent you played against too. True.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see more and more. The more if we can continue to run the football efficiently, the more of that we'll see, I think, because it'll open up the back end. And basically, it creates man coverage, or it creates defenses playing cover one zone, and you got to go win. And so I think, but that goes back to who's that guy? Yep. You know, who are we going to lean on to throw the ball 40 yards down the field that we know that he's going to come up with the ball? I don't know who that guy is yet. I mean, is it Noah Thomas? I don't know. Is it all day? I mean, I see flashes of good, but then but I want consistency.
The other thing from a scheme perspective, Drod mentioned this with the Texans and C.J. Stroud. They talked about how simple they have to be. Of course, still a young quarterback. Right. And I would argue that Connor's still a young quarterback, too. He's only started 10 games.
Yeah.
Marcel's at, 4 now? So, look,
2 starts for Marcel.
2
starts.
In Okie State?
No, he didn't start.
He came in on the second play. It's basically a start.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah,
basically a start.
Fact check here.
It's like one play. Yeah.
ABC News.
So, but what they said about CJ was that they got to keep it simple. What they do so well, and because defenses are so complex in the NFL, that they run like 6 pass schemes, but they do a million shifts and formations. And so you're talking about this offense evolve. I don't think you do anything different from a route perspective. I think you keep it simple, but you got to do it from a million different looks.
That's
shifts.
it.
Look, I mean, you're running. You're in bunch. Maybe you're in trips. Maybe you're in tray. You got to bring in all the formation looks and then run the same stuff because then the guys are playing fast.
Yeah.
So last thing for you, is there an area of this team that is elite that you've seen? Because we all expect the defensive line to be elite, but is there an area? Maybe it is the defensive line. Is there an area that you think is elite so far?
Not yet. No. I mean, I think our offensive line has really impressed me. Wouldn't say
elite.
I'd say. Like 2012, that was an elite offensive
right.
line. Like, you just go across the board, they're elite.
And
I think we're getting there, though. I think that's probably an area that I'm most excited about. Like I feel like minus some injuries and stuff, that has happened to them, I feel like they've responded really well. Elite, I mean,
punter is where I was going to go with this. And I'm not saying it's a joke.
He's pretty good. Tyler White's
good. He is an elite punter.
Dude's
that dude
unbelievable.
can nail the ball.
Nails it.
No, I mean, I think we're.
If A&M runs for 250 against Arkansas, we can say we have an elite running game, right?
Well, I don't think you say you have an elite running game until you play an elite defense and you run the ball for 250 yards. That's to me elite. Okay. Elite is saying, you're the best of the best.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced.
But what elite defense are they going to play?
Texas.
That's at the end of the year. So if you have a bunch of 250-yard games,
they're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I agree with your point.
That's an OD question. I don't scout the SEC right now, so I'm gonna get fact checked all day here, as I already have. But
I know your point.
Missouri, I don't know.
No, you're right.
There's going to be a good defense eventually, and look, there's probably I don't know if you look at it from a unit perspective, maybe you don't say elite.
Elite is a huge. That's a big word.
Yeah, you're saying you're like top 5 in your position group or whatever.
But
I think if you look at individuals, maybe you say a guy like Chase Pasantas. Again, I'm not getting the actual O-line tape every week to look at it and grade guys. But, an individual, maybe they sneak in the radar.
17's good. Tight end. He's been playing in elite.
Yeah.
Theo's been playing good. Got to drop it there. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Jim Turner's going to be coming in a little bit, so you'll see him here in a moment. Before that, we'll have AT. Bird Dog, an Aggie-owned operated company creating access to hunting opportunities. Reach out to Jonathan Lusk over there. He is going to hook you up with some awesome opportunities for hunting. It's an Airbnb for hunters, and it's also for the ranch, the landowners as well. They get more hunters on their land, make more money for the ranches. It's a really cool process that they're doing there with Bird Dog. They provide the full-service hunting experience for corporate groups, friend groups. They're going to handle all the logistics, and I know that I'm going to be going with them here soon. Maybe some people on this desk may be coming as well. Brand new hunters, seasoned hunters, ranch consulting for service for landowners. If you want to start up a hunting operation, call up Jonathan Lusk and the crew over there. The website is birddogit.com. Check it out. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studios. Time for Around College Football, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, wide open spaces, with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve community with a Conservancy membership. Learn more, MillikenReserve.com. We go to the Boss Firearms Hotline. We're joined by Aaron Torres. AT, I owe you a phone call off the air. It's coming today. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. It really isn't that important. You know, you called me, you're such a big timer. You have to rearrange the schedule. You got Greg Sankey in hour one, Mike Elko in hour two, Buzz Williams later in hour two. So it's all good. It really is not important, but it's great to catch up with you. And hope all is well heading into what is obviously a very intriguing game this weekend.
One thing that impressed me, by the way, in our conversation yesterday, you were very aware of Jim Turner's offensive line breakdowns.
He's a legend.
Yeah, he's a legend.
I don't toss around the word legend loosely, but I know in the offensive line community, what he has accomplished and what he has done and who he has coached. And so, listen, if you got to make a little bit more time for him, I totally understand. I mean, he's great at what he does. And I know that the audience loves the breakdown. So
I'm going to ask you this question. I know there's some really elite teams in the SEC.
Sure.
Take away those elite teams, okay? Tennessee, Ole Miss, Texas, Georgia, Bama. Is that the list of is that the elite level? I guess we're going to find out about Bama this weekend. But would you say that's when we're talking about playoff level teams? Is that the 5?
Well, playoff level, and it's crazy. This new era, I think there's a different level. Elite to me can win a national championship versus, listen, I mean, how many years in previous years has the 12th best team in college football been able to win a national championship? The answer is 0. So if we're talking elite of the elite, Texas, maybe Tennessee, we'll see on Georgia, Bama. But I would say those 5 right now certainly have the inside track to playoff success. Missouri's undefeated. We talked about Boston College, last week or the week before, but struggled against Vanderbilt. I need to see more of them. But to answer your question directly, I haven't seen anybody outside of those 5, like an LSU, no offense, but like an A&M so far that's going to break through. And I think you probably got to be about 10-2 by the end of the year to really be in that playoff conversation. So I would say those 5 are the ones that I think have the inside track to get there.
So I say that I move those 5 to a different column. You got Missouri, who might be right. Although you look at last week's game, you're like, I don't know, I'm going to pause on that. But again, Georgia struggled with Kentucky, so then I look at the next group. And a lot of that next group A&M has on their schedule, right?
Yes.
LSU is a team that typically, and I know they have their down years, but typically is in the mix to be in that elite conversation. Missouri wants to be in that conversation. Outside of that, you got Arkansas, who's making some noise this year, but are they really – they're better than they were last year, that's for sure. But are they really a team that's contending for a 9-win season? Florida, I think we already know with their schedule and their situation. So I say all that, a long-winded form to say there's a lot of winnable games on A&M's schedule to really make some hay. And there's also the fact that if they play against these teams against the way they played against Bowling Green, they're going to have some issues too.
No doubt. Yeah, no, and I do think, to your point, that middle group, it's fascinating, right? Like I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday. Actually, I'll tell you who I was talking. I was talking to Ryan Fowler about this yesterday, and we talked a little bit about Auburn, situation that Hugh Freeze is in. I think whoever loses this game this weekend, Oklahoma, Auburn, I want to bring it back to A&M, but whoever loses that game, it's hard to see the scenario where they get the wins requisite just to get to a bowl game. So that's just another example. But to your point about A&M, absolutely. Listen, Arkansas 3-1 could be 4-0. Great story so far. I don't even think Arkansas would say they're a great team. Winnable. Got to get it. Missouri, the same. Listen, I've been a little bit underwhelmed by Missouri so far this season. You just go on and on down the list. I think to your point, yes, if you play to your capabilities, if you show up ready to play like you did against Florida, there are a lot of wins left on the schedule for the Aggies. By the way, you mentioned LSU. I'm very down on LSU this year.
Yeah, the LSU offense is good, but not as good as we all expected. The defense, I guess, is better, but they keep losing players, right?
I see more special out of LSU every time I turn on the TV Sunday than I do Saturday. Like, that's a place that usually has 4 or 5 difference makers, and quarterback is fine. No disrespect. It's just the truth. I think the Mason Taylor kid's awesome. Tight end, nice wide receiver. I keep being told how awesome this offensive line is. South Carolina was blowing them up. UCLA was making plays. The defense has a guy or two. But, the school of Patrick Peterson, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, I don't see a lot of special when I turn on that team. I really don't.
So when you look at Arkansas, what do you see about them? Because I feel like they're better than they've been because they're not going to be at the bottom of the SEC. I don't know if they're a legit contender like they hope to be after if they beat A&M, which I don't think they will. But if they beat A&M. By the way, this game is not a guarantee in my mind. I think it's whoever establishes the line of scrimmage, and I think A&M is better at doing that.
Well, yeah, no, that's the key. That's the X factor. And I think if you pay attention, I know you and your audience have been, as the season has gone on, I think they've tried to take more and more off of Talon Green's throwing shoulder and put it more and more on his legs and Jaquinta Jackson. And so you look at Arkansas, listen, it's Sam Pittman's, wildest dream here is, top 15 run defense. They run the football really well. Jaquinta Jackson and Talon Green are both in the top 10 in the SEC in rushing. But I think you also see is if you keep Talon Green in the pocket, now he can throw a 70-yard bomb like he did against Auburn to break open that game. But I think, we're now a quarter of the way through the season, or a third of the way through the season. I think he's like a 52, 53% completion percentage guy. So I don't think I'm telling you anything that everyone hasn't told you guys all week, but you keep him in the pocket. I think that's where good things happen. And I do think, again, to your point, it starts by controlling the line of scrimmage.
Bama, Georgia, this game here. Look, Georgia's got a tough schedule, and we've talked about that before the season, during the season. It's a tough schedule. Bama, I don't know what I believe about them yet, and it's weird because there's part of me that still thinks through the Nick Saban lens, and also Kalen DeBoer's a darn good coach, right? But we're about to find out a lot about them, and maybe that's unfair because it is Georgia, but we're about to learn.
Well, and that's absolutely true. I think we're going to learn a lot about Georgia too. I mean, listen, Georgia, I don't think we really had a chance to talk about it because there was so much else going on that week. Georgia probably should have lost that Kentucky game. I mean, they got outgained. Carson Beck had like 162 yards passing. They couldn't run the ball. Listen, all the analytics guys will tell you it was the right decision by Mark Stoops. We know analytics don't take context into the situation. Mark Stoops shouldn't have punted that football. And so I only bring it up because Georgia did not look great in that Kentucky game. By the way, first half, Clemson was going toe-to-toe with them. So they basically, if you take out an FCS opponent, they've played one good half of football. I think we're going to learn a lot about both teams. I think the cool thing about this 12-team playoff era is a loss doesn't preclude either of them from, contending late. I just haven't seen that special from Georgia. Now, I know I just said that about LSU, but Georgia's special, I think, is a little bit of a higher level than LSU's is. But, this was the preseason #1 team in the country. They were my pick to win the national championship. I thought they would come in with a chip off their shoulder off of last year, how things ended. Just doesn't feel like that has happened so far.
AT, I'll call you after the show, all right?
I'm around, brother. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Aaron Torres there on the Boss Firearms Hotline, Aggie Land's premier gun and accessory shop. They've got all you need to build your next firearm. Check them out at bossfirearms.com. We'll hit a break. Jim Turner will be in studio. I think people will be happy, writing good things again. Right now, we're talking Heritage Films. Chance McClain is the guy who runs that company. The website is yourheritagefilm.com. They make documentary films for families. So, like the Palomo family, they've got so many different stories in that family, but if we were to do a heritage film on Fernando or Aguayo, any of them, right? Like you will see that there's different parts of that story that maybe Juan doesn't know, right? And there's parts of the story that he knows, but he doesn't know it with the full clarity that obviously would be told in a film, a 2-hour documentary. And then that film can be shared with the next generation and the generation after that. That's what Heritage Films does. They keep your family story alive. They also honor family members. They honor family moments. They honor cool events in your life. They could be an eye in the sky at holiday parties. You name it, Chance and his crew could do it in a Netflix-style documentary. The website is yourheritagefilm.com. Yourheritagefilm.com. 713-893-8341. 713-893-8341. We're back here on TexAgs Live. I want to remind everybody the Texas A&M cross-country team competes in the Madison, Wisconsin, the Nutty Comb Invitational. Excuse me for saying it wrong. Big meet, early challenge for the team. So hopefully you can check that out. You can find all that information on the A&M website. Let's do a little learning. School's back in session. Jim Turner is at the Cool Zone. Coach Turner, how are you, sir?
I'm excited to be here again, man. Love it.
So you're going to teach us a little bit before we get into the plays. We're going to learn how installs work.
Yeah, so I'm just going to show you, I'll just do one play at a time that I come and visit, right? And I'll just talk about the play, how we install the play, and then you'll see all the fronts and all the different ways that we're going to block that front. So when it's presented in a game, you'll have a better understanding of what's coming at you.
Yes, sir.
And who should be doing what.
All right, let's get it going.
All right. So I'm going to start with six-man protection, okay? Six-man, five-step straight drop-back protection. Right, this is a protection that every team uses, whether it's a Pop Warner team, your high school team, A&M, NFL, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we're going to have 5 men in the protection right here with the back. There's your 6 men. Right, so if they bring 6 people, we're going to be able to block any combination of 6 rushers. So you got your 4, okay, with your defensive end. This is cut off, but there's a D in there, Sam, Mike, Will. Okay, and so the line will say this to themselves. We're going to block the 4 down, okay, which is going to add up to 5. We're going to go out to the Will. That puts the running back on the Mike and the Sam. If they bring the Mike and the Sam, the quarterback has the second player right there, which would be the 6th player or the 7th player. Okay, so the line will go out to the Will. If the safety's over the top, in too high. Go to the next slide for me. I want you to think of this. If you're the center right now, how do you know how to call it? Because you can have 2-3 techniques. You can have 2 eyes in here. It doesn't matter. If there's 2 players in the guard-to-guard box, it's a 4 down front. So when we block in this protection right here, right, everything we do is categorized by 3 down, 4 down, or 5 down. And so the line becomes accustomed, okay, to, hey, this is a 4 down front, so we're gonna hear these calls. This is a 3 down front, we're gonna hear these calls. So in this instance, it's a single high safety. The nickel will cannot come. So because he cannot come, he has to be topped in order to come. He can't come, so now we want the center, okay, to call Lucky to the Mike right now, okay, and that puts us 5 against these 4 to the Mike linebacker, and now the running back has the Sam, okay, to the next player outside. Go to the next one. Okay, 4 down again, right? 4 down again. This is a fire situation, which means this. Okay, we called 4 down. We called Lucky to the Mike. Okay, and now the running back would have the Sam, okay, to anybody else. Now, when the nickel will walks up on the ball, we don't want huge confrontations in the backfield. So we tell the left tackle, as soon as the nickel will's topped by the safety. So once he's topped, I know that player can cover him, which means now this guy can come off the edge. So now we have him make a fire call. And if you're playing left tackle, you'll see him go like that. He's going to pat the inside cheek to let the running back know, I just took your man. Okay, which means right now we're going to come off of that and go there. And now the running back has what you see, the square to the square on out. And that's how you pick up 4 off a side. Go to the next one for me. Okay, so now those are your 4 down fronts, right? Now you go to your 3 down. So the center comes up. You're always going to see a center in every team, right? And for me, it was 4 down was this. Okay, 3 down was the fingers. 5 down was this. Okay, why? Because when there's 100,000 people in the stands, you can't always hear what he says if you're the back. These guys can hear him, but usually he can't. So you're just giving them the signals, right? So this is 3 down. So we want to block 5. So right now, this is an odd call by the center. He would come up and call those 2 players out. The running back knows right now, okay? He knows right now we're going to be in a sort. That's where you see the word sort. So as soon as he says that, right, us 5 are blocking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1 player in the guard-to-guard box. That means it's a 3 down front for the center. Okay, so once he says that, they're in a sort. What does sort mean? Sort means that us 2 are going to block these 3 however they rush. So if we're looking at this player first. If he comes, then us 2 are going to block those 2 players. And now the running back, he's just looking at these players. If that player comes, he knows he has that player right now. If that player doesn't come and then this player comes, he knows the line's going to go out to it. And then he'll release into his deal, okay, into his route. That's what sorts are. Okay, so that's one way of blocking. I go to the next one. Okay, so now, right, this is 3 down again. Okay, that's Von Miller. Okay, so it still looks 3-4 structure. Sam, Mike, Jack, Will. Okay, 3 down front. One player in the guard-to-guard box. So watch now. If that's Von Miller, we're never giving him to the back ever, or you know it's going to be a sack. A lot of times it's a sack when we block it, if it's Von Miller, right? So the bottom line is this. We're going out to Von. That's just an Okie call, right? So the center comes up and calls 3 down, Okie. They know they're fanning out. The back has the Mike to the Will. It's still a sort on the backside, just like you see. Go to the next one. 3 down. Okay, now you got 3 down. You got a 3-3 stack. Can be confusing for a second. It doesn't matter. The center comes up and calls stack. That just means this 3 down stack. There's one player in the guard to guard, which means we're going to leave that player for the back and we're going to sort out to the next 2 out. So the center would come up and point both of those players out and they would sort out. Okay, go to the next one. Okay, here you go, right? So again, this would be a Linda. What does that mean? You got Von Miller over here or a great rush player over here. Okay, so you just want to make it simple for everybody. Okay, let's just say they have good players in all these positions over here. And we just want to slide the whole line and put 4 on 4. It's 3 down. It's a Linda, which puts him alone on him. And now the running back, our center would point at both of those players. The running back would have that player to that player. Go to the next one. There's your Linda. And then this is the last one. This is 5 down. So the center would come up and go jam 5 down. And I want you to remember this one because you're going to see a lot of this on the tape that I'm going to show you here. There's a player right there, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 3 players in the guard-to-guard box, okay? He could be out here. That player could be out. Doesn't matter. 3 players in the guard-to-guard box. It's a 6-man, 5-step, straight drop-back protection. He would just say 5 down, jam. And that means us 5 blocking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the running back has everybody else. Go to the next one for me, please. All right, let's go to the clips real quick, right? Okay, and I'll come back to that in a minute. This is counter. Just play it back for me one time. Okay, freeze that. So they're going to run counter to the right here right now, okay? So, again, if you watch, here's the weakness in this play. He gets off late, okay? They're going to double down on him to the backside backer, all right? And then we're going to pull the guard, okay? And he's going to trap there, and then we're going to pull the backside H right here. The key to this play in this game was this, right? So there's all kinds of reasons why plays succeed or don't succeed. This one I really put on him. Okay, you're just reading green grass to the A gap to the B gap to the C gap. You never want to be out wide and try and come back inside. You always want to be in tight and then bounce it. He really could have seamed that ball inside. If you let that roll for me. Now you watch, right? So he's laid off the ball, the right tackle. He ends up turning his player out. That ball should be right inside. So go back one more time. If you watch the right guard right here, he does a great job. He ends up down, down, down. He ends up picking the linebacker he's supposed to get. That ball should be right there. So he's got to put that ball back up inside harder. Go to the next clip, please. Okay, here you go again, right? So here's another counter play. So again, we're going to block this play. We're going to run counter to the left. This motion player is going to block him. Somebody has to block this player. All right, whether it's him cracking down inside or they're going to do it with the motion right here. Go ahead. This player right, this defensive end blows this play up. Watch. He's the wrong shoulder player. Stop right there. He does a great job. His job, okay, is to blow up the pulling guard and then to stop this player from coming over the top. So play it back one more time. All right, so watch what he does. He blows up the guard, and then he obstructs the tight end from getting around it. He obstructs it, and there's your tackler over the top. Tackler over the top. Go back one more time for me. And just freeze that right there for me. So this technique right here for him. Okay, so watch the left tackle. So I'm playing left tackle right now. So one of the things we teach a left tackle is this. You know if you're one-on-one with a linebacker, right, it's impossible for you to block him, okay, if your footwork isn't right. So right now he turns and runs this way. The linebacker's going to come over the top. He knows that because of the pullers, which means now he pushes the 3 down inside. He has to turn that big body all the way back here to get him. He can't do it. So that's why a lot of coaches teach the gallop, that you gallop down inside and you push it inside, and now you're in great position when the backer comes over the top to block him. I want you to watch that player right here. Okay, miss that linebacker right here. He turns and runs. Linebacker's over the top. He can't get back to him. He can't get back to him. There's the spilled player. Good defensive play by Bowling Green. Go to the next one, please. All right, here you go. So this is another counter play. Check this play out. Okay, this is a cheap play. Okay, so this is really stressful on the defense. So right now, the quarterback, right, they call counter to the right, and it's cheap, which means this. He's blocking perimeter sweep, perimeter sweep, perimeter sweep, perimeter sweep. They're not going to throw anything right here. All he's doing is reading that defensive end. If that defensive end bends, he's going to hand the ball. You have 2 different plays. You have the sweep or the quarterback counter. If he's up the field, the quarterback will keep the ball and run counter right here. Now, Bowling Green does a great job, okay, a great job on defense right here. Go ahead. Really difficult for an offensive line. We're pulling the center, okay, and he ends up keeping the football right here. In reality, right, I think it's in this situation, right, he wanted to hand this off. Freeze it for me right there. Now, I want you to watch this player. So the backside guard's staying right here, really hard. Okay, there's your 3 technique. Very smartly, they're looping the backside 3. When this man pulls, they're looping him around it. Okay, so if he's the backside B-gap blocker, he should come off and block that player. Very difficult to teach the backside guard right here. All right, and you got to be flat. You got to be flat. So go one more time. Everything they do has got to be flat. Like right here, stop, right there. So stay flat. You're going to the backside backer. He's already gone. So now, once your backer goes, go to linebacker color. Linebacker color shoots. You got to be flat right there. And if he's flat, he's going to block that player and make this clearer for the quarterback. That's the player that forces the play right there. Of course, he made the tackle.
Coach Turner, let's do this. Let's hit a break. We're going to come back with much more Coach Turner's breakdowns. We'll continue here on TexAgs Live. We are at TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We'll go back to the Cool Zone, Jim Turner, breaking down some film. You got some more plays for us.
Yeah. So let's go to the next one, please. All right, so watch this one now, okay? So here you go. This is split flow. And I want you to watch this now. So come back one more time and just show you, like, there's a lot of people here to make a play on them, right? So there's a lot to fix right here. But it's really just one fix. Okay, whenever you split flow, and they're in 12 personnel right now, okay, so you have a 4 down front with the Sam, the Mike, and the Will. Okay, so the angles are bad if the center, right? This is Mike declared, so he's trying to get to the Mike. We're trying to get the backside tackle through for the Will. But all you have is a corner right here. Okay, so in these defenses today, right, the safeties are tacklers today. The corners are cover men. So you always want to bounce things out to a corner and let him go one-on-one with him, which he's going to win 95% of the time. Okay, so right here, we got to get targeted right. We should be pushing there, okay, and pushing there, and let the split flow player read him, let the split flow player come back and block him, and you'll have a better play. Watch this. Go ahead, let it go. All right, so the center's trying to get back. You can't get back. Okay, so Bowling Green is a disciplined football team. I've been on both sides of this. Go back one more time. I've coached on teams like this. I was at Louisiana Tech, and I've coached, obviously, at A&M. Okay, and we went down to Alabama at Louisiana Tech, and we beat them, okay, with a team like that right there. These are dangerous football teams. I think we saw that Saturday night. It's a very difficult game. Okay, but there you go. 82's out the door. You have all these different people that can come in and make the tackle. Really difficult. You really got to push that. Okay, go to the next one, please. All right, so here you go, right? So again, okay, I want you to watch this scheme right now, right? So this is an M scheme. What does that mean? This is zone M, so they man up back here, okay? It's the only thing I can think that they're trying to do. So he's going to release. These guys are going to run their routes, okay? And the quarterback is really reading that player right there. If he bites on the run, okay, he's going to throw the ball because you only have 2 guys covering 3, okay? Now, if he bites on the pass, he's going to hand the ball off. Go ahead, let it go. He ends up, okay, for whatever reason, okay, he should really be throwing the football. If you look right now, okay, that's the guy they want to throw the ball to. Go back one more time. And I believe that's what they're running based on what he's doing right now. So if you're the right tackle right now, go back one more time. If you're the right tackle, stop. You can see him. He jumps outside. If anything, right, he should pick his outside foot up and down, flash set on that guy, and drive block him. If he goes inside, you got to win. You got to win. He can't let him in there. Go ahead. This ball should probably be thrown, right? They got him blocked, and I'll see you. All right, that's what they're doing on those plays. Go ahead, we'll go to the next one, please. All right, so watch now. Okay, so there's all kinds of reasons why plays succeed and don't succeed, right? Good job here, okay? Good job on the B block, right? You got a single, you got a B block, and the tight end gets beat right here. So watch now, when you're trying to fix plays during the game, watch 17 right here, who I think is a heck of a football player, but he gets beat on this play. Watch. There's the cutoff. Great job by 99. 99's in the backfield. Everything else, right, is pretty good to go. Okay, tight end's got to win on the backside. So when you see guys get tackled, okay, you really got to play it back sometimes to see what's going on. Okay, that's really what's changed in college football is like right now, when they came over to the sideline, the line coach can see, hey, what happened on that play? You don't always know. All right, but he knows now because he looks at the tape and he fixes the tight end. Go to the next one, please. All right, so here's your drop back pass, okay? So this is 5 down right here. This is a good look at 5-on-5. They went jam, okay, and they're blocking the 5-on-5 players right there. Real simple. Go to the next one for me. Okay, there's 5 down again. Okay, so watch now. Go back for me one more time. Okay, stop it. So it's 5 down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is an extra player right here. So the line's going to block those 5, and the running back has this player outside. Now watch, what they end up doing is they zone blitz from here. Okay, in order for a quarterback to figure this out, right, you got to have some experience. Really difficult. You're going to see both of these guys drop out, which means both of these players can get back inside and try and help out. You know pressure's coming from the other side.
Coach Turner, do me a favor.
Yep.
Stick around for part of the fan show.
Okay.
And we'll finish out the Arkansas film. Sound good?
Okay, sounds great.
A little bit more with Coach Turner when we come back. It's TexAgs Live.
Great.
All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to start the fan show brought to you by Prize Picks in about 6 minutes. Coach Turner's got a couple of plays from the Arkansas game that he wanted to break down from Arkansas's last game against Auburn. Coach Turner, take it away.
All right, so we're just going to finish with one play from the Ags right here, right? So let's just look at Mike's defense right here. Okay, so they're going to run counter to the left, okay? And when they run counter, okay, we got a pressure coming off the edge. He is the C-gap player. So if you look at this, right, and you're coaching defense, this is really frustrating. Go back. They ended up ripping this ball out. But why did they rip it out? Freeze it for me. So when these two players, when they go, it's going to be a split flow. So they're going to tell that player, right, to blow up the split flow and then get underneath it. Watch what he does. He does exactly what I said to you last week. When that player pulls, there's a new A-gap on the other side of the center. So he's going to play into the V of his neck. When he feels the pull, he's going to get over the top. He ends up getting over the top like he's supposed to. This player right here does a great job at getting off everything they coach him to do. He does. But what he does poorly is this. He gets up the field, and what he has to do is get flat down the line of scrimmage. Okay, the big thing is if you get up the field, okay, even though you did a great job, now there's a huge gash in between you and the player next to you. There's a gash in there, which is what you're going to see. And what they want is they want him to be flatter when he does this. When that guy pulls, get on his hip, get underneath that block. Go ahead, let it go. They got every gap covered here, right? So they feel great on defense. If they run counter right now, they feel great. This is a good defensive call. He's too far up the field. He blows it up. It should work, okay, but the running back makes a great play, and the nose guard goes over the top. That's a good look at the defense right there, just one clip. All right, go to the next one for me. That's how frustrating it can be when you coach in that position, because they do just about everything perfect except for that one little piece, and that's where discipline comes in and all those different things that you're coaching all the time. Okay, here you go, right? So here's Arkansas last weekend. Okay, so Arkansas right here, okay? So this weekend in this football game, okay, this is a problem. This is a problem for Arkansas right now in pass protection. So I studied this game, okay? And these guys are struggling right here now. They're well coached and all that business, okay, all that. But they're struggling right now, okay? They're struggling to get targeted. I want you to watch. This is a 3-down front. So if you look in here, right, you have one player in the guard-to-guard box. It doesn't matter that he's shaded. Okay, so the center's going to come up right now, okay? The center's going to come up right now, and there's going to be a miscue right here as far as who's blocking who. Go ahead, let it roll for me. This is 6-man straight, 5-step straight drop back protection. Okay, so 72 is stuck between two worlds. So go back one more time. Okay, freeze it. Okay, so it looks to me, right, based on what the running back did, that what the center wanted to do was point at that player and that player. Let him sort. Okay, let them sort, and then let the running back pick up whatever the extra player is. Watch what happens. He gets stuck, whether it's a Linda or whether it's an odd. He's not sure. Go ahead. Let it go. And so now 72, you see him, he's down. And so I think I should be blocking that player, and he should have been blocking that player. Go back one more time. Okay, and the running back right now is very difficult on an offense right here because the running back's really checking here, and he's got that player back there. He's got to come all the way back. He doesn't need to be there with the left tackle. All right, go to the next one. So there's a sack in that game. Okay, next one. Okay, so here you go. Here's the play action pass in this game, right? So this is their defensive ends, right? So they're defensive ends. Okay, so this is for our offense. Go back one more time. They're going to be able to rush the pass, so they're going to do a good job inside. They have some really good football players, solid in the well right here. Okay, solid in the well, but not great. Okay, very beatable. Our offensive line matches up really well against that front. We should run the ball. We should be able to protect all day long. They get creative, okay, but Mike gets creative too. So our guys, right, our guys Saturdays practice against all this 3-down stuff. They'll go between 4-down and 3-down for the defensive line. So they'll mix it up on our guys. It's going to make it difficult on the center. But our centers are smart. They're going to do a good job. I know they're injured right now. So I'm really not sure who's going to be playing at center this week because I know Shanahan went down too, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little
Coley,
bit
it should be Coley going for A&M, and Arkansas is having their issues at center.
Yeah, so we're both in the same boat. But either way, right, he's going to have to do a great. Just let it play one more time. You can see they're going with speed off the edges. Great job. Poor job by the left tackle right there, dropping his nose on that defender. Right, so again, freeze it for 1 second. Okay, so if you're playing offensive tackle right there, okay, when you're playing offensive tackle, right, just imagine that you're the quarterback sitting at home. Okay, and if you're the quarterback, there's the defensive end. Okay, and so if he's a speed player or whatever type of player he is, you tie a rope from his crotch to the quarterback's final destination. Okay, and all you got to do, right, a lot of guys do this. They come here and they square this player up. Well, the defensive line coach is telling this guy to work half your body. As soon as you square him up, he's working half your body because the quarterback's in there. Okay, so what I teach them is this. You're going to take that imaginary ropes right there, just get that rope in between your legs, and you're going to stay directly between him and the quarterback. And if you do that, you're going to do well. Now, what the defense also is going to do this. If they catch you doing what I'm saying, now they're going to try and speed rush outside. Okay, which means now once you get that rope between your legs, you have to mirror that player. You have to mirror that player, and if you do a good job, okay, at setting to the right spot and mirroring that player, then he's going to have to go straight through you to get to the quarterback. And when he tries to do that, you're going to be there to block him.
Coach Turner, excellent stuff. Thank you so much.
Great,
very
man.
much. Very, very much. All right, now it is time for our good friends, the Fan Show. We'll get Hunter and Mike here in a moment. Thanks to Prize Picks for making this segment happen. We all know about Prize Picks. Sign up today, get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. The website, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive a guaranteed $50 once you play in $5 lineups. Let's do this. I'm going to ask the people how they're doing. I'm going to start this way and work my way to the left. Matt Browning, what's on your mind this AM?
Boy, that's a tough act to follow right there. I mean, that was great. Seeing it live and in here, hey, you go from that to us talking X's and O's.
This is a true story. I told Coach this, and I mean this. I'm semi-smart, not smart, semi-smart. Mm-hmm. But it takes me to write things down and listen 2 or 3, 4, 5 times. So I tell them, I go, I learned so much, but I have to go back and watch it again.
Yes, yeah. So go back and watch that again. Wow, Coach, well done. So
what's on your mind this
What's
morning?
on my mind? Well, it's good. You know, I'm in that in-between moment right now.
You're still in the in-between.
Yeah, all right, we got the victory. Yep. Wins are wins, period. I get it. It wasn't a pretty win. It wasn't what we'd expected. But that, I will say, though, that was watching them live, that's a good football team.
That's a very good football team.
I mean,
well coached.
Yeah, that's well coached. I know they were, like you said last week, they were senior laden, you know, kind of reminded me of that App State team that, I don't want to bring that up, but kind of.
You just did.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that.
And yet he does.
But yeah, they were well coached. They were in good positions. They had some really clever, you know, like their screen game was really, really clever, I thought, in a lot of cases. And so, you know, disappointing the way that the final score turned out. But again, getting the win is a win, and move forward to this next week. So.
Yeah. Hunter, what's on your mind?
Final call for Jerry World this week.
Right? Amen.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness.
Right.
I'm mixed emotions about it.
Mixed emotions. I've been up there a lot for that game, so I don't think it ever caught on like maybe the ADs thought it would early on, and I get
like
it.
Like a Texas OU feel to it
right,
or something.
Right. First, it was a non-conference game, right? We switched to SEC, it became a conference game. Good crowds, 50, 60, you know, pushing 70, but never got that feel of I think what it was intended to be. But it's fun up there, but I'm ready to go home and home. But in just a completely weird, you can't predict this game, right? We've had this type of team or this type of team or this type of team heading into these showdowns with Arkansas, and it's chaos.
Yeah, I mean, we would have another home game this year if we weren't doing that. So to me, I'd rather watch a game at college.
I mean, the boink off the top of the field goals, the multiple overtime games. You know, what was the big left tackle they had that was just a giant? He got
the tripping.
They scored. They were scored on a big play, and they called it back for tripping, and he was away from the play. You know, it was a blatant trip. Right. It was away from the play,
and it was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, DeShazer, the fumble handoff, or
Damani.
You know, Damani takes it. You know, forever.
Some of Amari Watt's best games were in that. You know, where the fourth down stop, the goal line stop, where they try to reverse and he nails the guy in the backfield. Yeah, it's been a fun series.
What's on your mind, Roy?
Dude, it's Arkansas week, man. Yeah. I love this week, and I'm excited because this is the last time in Jerry's World. Look, I'm a Cowboys fan, all right, and that atmosphere is stale. Like you said, it never caught on. If you can't pack that place full, then it's just kind of a crappy environment. And I know that you got the bands and you got the fans trying to do everything they can. Put it back on campus. Like it was on campus when I was in school. You know, we got that little break from Jerry's World. So, you know, went to Fayetteville, just curb stomped them, beat them when they were here my sophomore year. So,
let me ask you this. Would you be okay with a non-conference neutral site game?
Not on the schedule for 10 years. So
you don't like you know, Bama typically does it. They all have these go-to sites. You don't like that at all.
College football should be played on college football campuses. However, I understand like the week 0, week 1 game kind of matchups. I get those because this is all a revenue game, right? So I understand that they're going to do some of those. But we're talking about losing a conference game, for
a decade.
For a decade. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And like the Red River Shootout, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, I get that, but those are long established. It's like we were trying to force something, and like you said, just never caught on. Yeah. But either way, I love Arkansas week. We were all saying, we're going to know so much, after that Arkansas week. All right, well, we're here, right? Yep. And despite what we've seen, and this Arkansas team, and you look at, you look at kind of their team stats and where they are, and man, they're great against the run. They held Arkansas Pine Bluff High School Tech pretty much to 8 yards. So that skews your data so incredible. Like, I know that we haven't played the toughest slate on the planet, but we did play Florida. We played, Bowling Green. Everybody was better than Arkansas Pine Bluff. And so those numbers are a little skewed. If Auburn can somehow figure out how to not suck last weekend and basically just hold on to the ball a little bit, I don't think Arkansas gets out of there with a win. And so, and knowing where Auburn is right now, like knowing that they could have beat Arkansas, I think should tell you a little bit about Arkansas. Now, we're not world beaters, but I like where we're going this weekend.
I want you guys to just chime in on that. Are you okay with neutral site games to start the season? Do you want it to go away? You feel like Roy, you want it always at home or away?
I feel like I agree completely with him. The idea of like he said, occasionally, playing in that, what is the Chick-fil-A opening series,
season
something like that.
Yeah.
If you get a good opponent in that, do that once every 5 or 6 years is cool. But like you said, a 10-year stretch at Jerry World where we've missed in that time period that many home games here and the opportunity to go to Fayetteville. I mean, I do want to go. I'd like to go see a game there. I've not been there, so I'd like to go see a game there. I agree with him 100%. I think college football games should be on college campuses. That's what's so unique about college football. The NFL is always stale. I've been to Cowboys games at Cowboys Stadium, and there's no comparison. I've been to high school games there. It's a neat stadium. Don't get me wrong. It's cool. It's beautiful. It's amazing. But if I want to watch the Aggies, I want to watch them here at Kyle Field with our environment or there. So I'm 100% agree with him. I don't like the idea of the 10-year contract. And
you can keep shipping Notre Dame to Dublin every year. I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, we had the one-off in 2015, I want to say, right, with Arizona State. We played in Houston. It was just a one-game, first game of the year kind of deal. I would much rather, as a fan, have Arizona State play here at Kyle Field, and then we're going to Tempe the next year. We get the Notre Dame series. We had the UCLA series, which I like. And Alabama had been doing these neutral site games to start the season pretty consistent for a long time and playing some good teams. But this year they go to Wisconsin, and then Wisconsin's going to return the favor.
How fun is that?
Look,
I think that's awesome.
If we had an average college football experience at home, then I'd be like, okay, that's one thing. That's the most amazing college football experience there is. And
so more of it, not less.
That is, I want more of that. I mean, that is fantastic. I've been to Jerry World and to watch this game 3 times, and every time it's kind of like,
But I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not just that though. Like, it's going to Fayetteville in that little stadium and that awesome. Like, Fayetteville is such a cool little town. Yeah. It's going to start Vegas. It's getting to go to the Grove. All of that is like. Great, I get to go to DFW.
Yeah.
I can do that on a Tuesday.
Right.
So it's everything about college football is the experience on top of the game. The game is like the icing on top because the 4 hours prior or that entire weekend, you get to experience a town and something different and that school's vibe and their traditions and what they there's just so much more pageantry that goes into college football, and by you take that out of it when you put it in neutral site.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact is that A&M-Arkansas game does not feel any different than a Cowboys game. It just doesn't feel any different than going to watch the Cowboys there. So this is better. So I'm
I don't really love watching A&M play at NRG either. Like the NFL stadium experience for me isn't great. Now I didn't mind, maybe because it was Miami. I didn't mind the Miami experience. But that's an NFL stadium. That doesn't feel, even though the Canes played that didn't feel very good. You were at that one, right?
No, I did not go to that one.
Yeah? No?
No, back in the day. I was in the old Orange Bowl. When we went with
that's legit.
Yeah, Coach Fran,
Yeah. What about the Bowling Green game? Does it give you pessimism heading into this Arkansas game? Or maybe optimism because, hey, kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit. SEC play really begins. I know we had Florida, but the ramp-up is now. What does it make you feel? Hunter, you start us off.
I'm not overly pessimistic. I mean, we're driving the ball, we're kicking field goals, right, instead of getting touchdowns. If you punch a few of those in, right, it feels a little different. If we don't, Moss doesn't fumble at the end of the game, probably feels just a 9-point win, feel a little bit different, right? Maybe. So I'm okay with it. I just think, and right, explosive plays. It's Florida, Notre Dame, Bowling Green now. These explosive plays by the other team.
McGee's had a couple too, but on the 5th team.
I get it, but those are killing us. I mean, that's the difference between these close games and major blowouts.
Well, it's literally the combination of those two. It's those chunk plays. I mean, you take away the 40-yarder, you take away the, what was it, like a 67-yarder, and then all of a sudden you also look at the total offense, that your defense was giving up. That's a huge change in the game. And I'm generally the sunshine pumper, so I'm going to stay that way. It's more tape for the coaches to go back and really kind of hammer down. And this was, like you said, I know we played Florida, but now we're in the grind, right? The grind starts Saturday. And this is one of those, this is the last stand kind of thing. Like, look, it's about to get ramped up, and we have got to stop this crap. Like, just hammering down on film and hammering this down in practice and trying to just cement it into their brains about this stuff. I mean, think about it. Give up those chunk plays, take away those chunk plays, and where are we?
I mean, again, I think for this game, I'm optimistic about this game, but I don't think it's because of what we've done, what we did in the Bowling Green game. Bowling Green. I think it was more kind of watching Arkansas and seeing what they're
better than they were last year.
Yeah, they're better than they were last year.
Not a real high bar.
I think we're better than we were last year too, though. That doesn't say a whole lot.
But isn't this game? And tell me what you guys think before we hit a break. This could be the quote unquote turning point of the season. You lose this game, I think we kind of know it's going to be 7-5, 8-4 kind of year. You win this game, now you're like, okay, hold on. I know Arkansas isn't, but you're 4-1. You got Missouri coming in, who will be a top 10 team off a bye week, by the way, which isn't cool. And like all these things that we thought were potentially possible are on the table. You lose this game, you go back. I don't know, man. It's next year, Nuño, right? Am I right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. 100%. That's correct. Yes, because if you lose this game, this is one that it's one of those deals you look at the beginning of the season as fans. Now, I know the team doesn't do this. I hope they don't. I hope they're taking it one game at a time like they're supposed to. But we go and, okay, this is a circle for a W, right? This is one of the ones, this isn't one of the question mark games. This is one that we as fans go, okay, this one we should win. And if you don't, then things really kind of, especially for our fan base.
Right.
That's when it's to the cliffs time.
God help us all if the team is watching the fan show, by the way.
Coach Turner's over there watching us like, these guys are idiots. The host is the worst.
No, but if you go and win this game, you're 4-1, and you know what? More importantly, you're 2-0 in conference, right? So you're 2-0 in conference, and then you start looking ahead. You go, all right, well, you have Missouri, but there's question marks with Missouri that maybe we didn't think that were there a couple weeks ago, right? No, maybe Missouri isn't this massive juggernaut that they kind of looked like to start the season. And again, you lose this game, you're like, crap, Missouri's next, right? Because that's just, and stay off the boards completely if we lose. But this is a great springboard as well, though. This is the opportunity where, all right, man, we've won 2 SEC games, and neither of them been at Kyle, right? So we went to the Swamp and won, and now we beat Arkansas in what has basically been the Wild West of a football game for the last decade. Yep. When it was on campus, it wasn't close, but every time in Jerry's world, it's pretty much insane. And so you get out of that, and you're like, all right, well, now we've got some momentum. We're 2-0 in conference. We've got Missouri. We've got a great opportunity in Missouri because we took care of the business thus far in conference. And, you beat Arkansas 2-0 in conference. All of a sudden, that Notre Dame loss is really kind of in the rear view a good bit. You lose to Arkansas, and now you're like, crap. The good teams we played, we've lost to. So it's.
Hunter, anything you want to add to that?
No, but I feel we, for this Arkansas game, we've been in better position than we have in the past few years. Right, both the lines I think are better than Arkansas.
A little thin,
getting thin there, but not on defense.
No.
So I feel good about it.
Just dominate the lines, right?
Dominate the lines. We'll come back with more on the Fan Show, brought to you by Prize Picks. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. They have a lot of great selection vehicles for you to think about. Commercial vehicles, service body trucks, flatbed trucks, several medium-duty trucks. They are locally owned by Aggie alumni, and they are the absolute best in the area. Complimentary pickup and delivery for their service customers, and that also includes you're going to get free oil changes for the life of your purchase as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Proud supporter of Aggie Athletics. That's why they're at all the big games. Make the short drive to Caldwell, and you're going to experience something you've never had before. A small town feel, but you're going to get the best pricing around. 15-minute drive. We're talking about the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Welcome back into TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Fan Show, brought to you by Prize Picks. Your car wash tradition with the friendliest staff and a personal touch is Aggieland Express Car Wash. They have 2 locations, the one on William D. Fitch behind Shipley's in South College Station, and of course the brand new location on Texas Avenue. That new location has the full service wash option, where they'll take care of your team, your vehicle completely with their team, cleaning, drying, vacuuming, Armor All interior. And for a limited time, they want you to try that full service option for half price. It's normally $40. They'll give it to you for $20. And right now, I'm going to give a free one away. The first caller to 979-693-1150, you're going to get a free car wash, full service car wash from the new location, Aggieland Express, there on Texas Avenue, 979-693-1150. Fan Show, guys. Where do you see Marcel Reed going? What do you think about his trajectory? How do you feel about him now after a couple of games of seeing him start? Roy, start us off.
So we talked about it before last week. The more starts he gets, obviously, he's going to have more film on himself.
Yep.
He's not just watching defensive roles, getting ready for a game. He's going to be able to watch his own decision making in real time. And so we still saw a little bit of it again last week. Some open receivers missed, just some kind of missed throws kind of thing. If he can clean that up, this is how I kind of looked at it between him and Connor. I think Connor has the higher floor, just because of
higher floor or higher ceiling?
Yeah, no, I think he has a higher floor.
Higher floor, okay.
I think Marcel has the higher ceiling.
Oh, okay.
Because of his escapability, and McGee and Swope were talking about it, like his speed, like he has speed, right? And you can't teach speed. If he can clean that up, I think the sky can really be the limit for this kid. He's fast, he's shifty. If he can slow down his progressions, if he can see those open receivers, and again, receivers getting open, both have got to happen, but he's got to make those throws. So he's a work in progress, but if he's a work in progress and he's where he's at right now, then you've got to feel really good about his trajectory. I mean, he's got great sense when he's running. He's got a great sense of the field. Great, he put his foot in the ground against that Florida guy, and he's great in the open field. If he can improve on the passing side of it, I think you've got to love his trajectory. And so I'm excited for it. I just want to see, just like this team, I said it, right? Every week get a little bit better. I want to see him get better every week. If he goes out and throws for 350 and runs for 150 this week, that's great. But again, is that like a peak and then you go back to kind of regress? So I want to see improvement.
Consistency, yep.
Okay, yeah.
Hunter?
Man, if I don't care how he does it, if it's with his arm or legs. I mean, if he can just keep this team winning, I'm down with it, right? And he can correct it. He's got the big arm. I know he's behind some receivers or late on, but we have guys getting open. Watch McGee's segment. I mean, we're running these patterns and a lot of crossers, and especially when teams are playing zone against us, we got receivers open and guys tight ends sitting in the middle. So he just needs to find them, right? Get a little better vision and go through his reads. That he's exactly right. I don't care. I don't get in the quarterback battle. I think Connor's a great quarterback. I've said it before on here.
100%.
But I don't care. I just want to win football games. And this team, this program, we've talked about it, needs to learn how to win because they haven't under the last 3 years of Jimbo, right? And maybe they are turning the corner, like you said. Maybe this Arkansas step is just another game that they can get some confidence and learn how to win. But I just think we see it around college football. We see it around the NFL. Marcel Reed is the type of quarterback, as long as he can hit some of these receivers, right? Because they're going to absolutely press and try to stop the run on us. So if he can hit those, we're going to keep winning football games.
Bucky Richardson was never going to be a 15-year NFL starting veteran, right? But what did Bucky do, man? He just won games. Bucky always found a way to win. And I'm not saying Marcel's Bucky, all right, because we have to preface everything, apparently, before the boards blow up. But you hit the nail on the head. Whoever's going to win games, but since he's the dude.
Right, and I'm an old guy, and I can tell you about Bucky. He got better as a passer, too.
Yes, he did.
Every year, that guy got better.
I talked to him this week. If you look at what he did each year, the first year was rushing for 90 and throwing for 100. He started doing the 200s, the 178s with the running that he was doing.
Mm-hmm. For Marcel Reed, we've seen three sample sizes of him, 3 samples of it. Oklahoma State in the bowl game last year where he played, I thought, excellent.
Yep.
I thought he played really, really well for his first time really playing.
And didn't know he was starting.
Yeah.
Didn't know he was going to play until 5 minutes in the game.
The third play of the game, he's in there. And then to go on the road and start against Florida and play as well as he did. So we've got 2 games where he's played really, really well. Last week,
he didn't play bad.
He played well enough to win the game. There was, like Roy said, there was some. When you're there, I'm up in section 302, and I can see things that he obviously can't. I'm seeing receivers. I'm like, oh, sure. He's open. He threw a lot of low balls, like at receivers' feet and stuff. But again, it's just progression. He's had a bad game. A bad game compared to what we've seen in the first 2 samples. Hey, that doesn't happen. If he comes out and plays well this week, then no, I'm not concerned at all. So, I think that the athleticism is always going to be there. The escapability is always going to be there. It's the quarterback play of, hey, where are my guys finding them and hitting them, and hopefully in stride.
All right, let's hit a break here. We will come back. We've got a little prize picture with Matthew Dawson. I've got to give you their numbers because I didn't give them the thing. So we'll give them the options for this week. Right now, if you're looking for a reason to move back to Aggieland, reach out to the Association of Former Students because they're looking to hire professionals. They are always looking to expand their team and look for great professionals in fundraising, marketing, sales, you name it. There's many different areas that they are looking to expand. They are the nation's premier alumni association and the oldest organization supporting A&M in support of that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from howdy to here. Join a team that exemplifies the Aggie core values of integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. So if you're interested in joining a team or have someone in mind that would be a great fit, visit tx.ag/association jobs. It is the Association of Former Students. And we're back on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is now time for Matthew Dawson to join us with our Prize Picks segment. And I think some of us struggled last week, Matthew, and some of us did aight.
Well, not you, David. I mean, you went 7-5. You led the pack. Well,
7-5. That's not good.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, you're hitting. What is that? 57%.
Yeah, I like at least 85%.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? So you and Sutton led the way, David, but the standings still remain kind of the same where they were last week. A little. Roy had a tough week. I believe Roy went 4-8 last week. Nice. Yeah, and then Matt went 5-7. So Roy, you're currently running up the rear here, 14-19 overall. Matt, you're at 15-18 overall. David, you're at 17-16 overall.
You're above 500.
Hunter didn't send me his picks, so I think I'm going to penalize you in some way. I haven't figured out how I want to do it.
I got to get on.
But so yeah, I mean, are you guys ready to have a big week this week or what?
I don't know.
It's time for redemption. Let's do this.
I'm still disappointed about going 7-5. Go ahead, please.
All right. The first one, let's talk about Dylan Raiola, quarterback of Nebraska, is traveling to Purdue. It's 11 a.m. kickoff. Is he going to have more than or less than 225.5 passing yards?
I'm going to start off more than. I'm going more than. I believe that they're going to get back on track. I think they're better than what we saw last week.
I'm going to say more than as well.
Dalen? Yeah, more.
I've got more. I think Illinois is a good team. I don't think they got off track. I think Illinois is pretty.
Yeah.
I don't think Illinois is a bad football team.
Yeah, I like that. That's probably what I'd be on.
I think Illinois is better than I expected going into the season.
Right. I think that Nebraska-Illinois game was going to tell us which one was on the faster track. Yeah.
I think they're both in that tier 2. I think Purdue is bottom of the barrel. So we'll see. The next one, let's talk about Jalen Milroe. Gets a home game against Georgia. I believe College Game Day is there. Jalen Milroe, is he going to have more than or less than at 203.5 passing yards?
This is
a hard one for me.
It's a tough one.
Because Georgia's been so good on defense, but they're not very good. They haven't looked like their normal selves. And I honestly think Bama's going to win this game. I would pick Bama to win this game. So I'm going to say more than, just because I think he has to do that to win this football game.
I think less than, and he's going to throw for 183.
It's specific.
I'm going specific. That's what I do.
That's an extra pick there.
Write that down.
I'm going less than on Jalen. I just these teams, they're playing ugly ball, both of them a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going less than. I think he's going to utilize his legs probably more than maybe even he needs to.
Right.
All right. I like it's tough to tell what they're going to try to do offensively. Kalen DeBoer's first game against Georgia. Stay in that game. Carson Beck. Is he going to have more than or less than 245.5 passing yards?
Less than. I'm saying less than.
I agree. Less.
Yeah, Carson Beck has been my problem child in these prize picks so far this year. I'm going less than.
Which is why he's probably going to go more, right? I'm going to go less than. I don't. That's a big number on the road in Tuscaloosa.
And he hasn't found his guy yet, right? Mm-hmm. Carson's not blowing it up because they don't have a
tight end's
receiver.
Gone.
Yeah.
They really don't. And Alabama's secondary has looked good. I know it was a question mark heading into the season for them, but I mean, they've looked good. You know, not necessarily against great competition, but you know, still something to consider. The next one, let's come over to Arlington. Taylon Green is going to have more than or less than 183.5 passing yards.
Do we know what we've averaged? Our defense is average in passing.
We can
We're
get that
116th in the nation.
Yeah. So
is that good? Oh, it's not? Okay.
That's not good?
I'm saying less than. I'm going to tell you why. You look at his last few games, Auburn, he threw for 150. UAB threw for 161. I like our defense better, regardless of what you guys think about the I think it's been the big plays where those numbers get inflated. He did throw for 416 against Oklahoma State. What do you think about the Oklahoma State defense? That's a different part of the game. I'm saying less than.
I'm going to agree, too. I think less than as well. I just think that I think if you keep him inside the pocket and make him throw the ball, he's not going to be nearly as effective.
Okay, until this A&M defense stops giving up chunk plays and big plays, I'm going more than on Taylon Green.
My exact reasoning. I'm going more than as well because just, again, the chunk plays. And I think they're going to be playing from behind a little bit.
You think he throws an interception this game?
I think he throws more than one interception.
Yeah, I think he's going to get harassed, but he's a playmaker too. He'll
also a number offered on the board.
The number's 2.5, I'm guessing.
For interceptions?
Yeah, I'm just guessing. Am I right?
No, it's just a half.
Just a half? He's thrown more than a half.
So I didn't have it on this board for you guys picking, but something to consider for the listeners.
He has thrown I think 4 interceptions in the year. Does that sound right?
Yeah, and then 5 in his last 5. If you go back to bowl game last year, so
yeah, he's about to throw some interceptions, buddy.
Ollie Gordon is playing against Kansas State.
He's had a rough start to this season.
Yeah, I'm going less because until he proves me otherwise, I have such high hope for Ollie Gordon this season, and they cannot get him going.
If I'm not mistaken, here's the more or less than is 83.5. I don't think he's even done that this year.
Nope, not a single time.
No, yeah, he hasn't.
Yeah, I'm less than.
I'm going to say more than just because I'm a mental head case here.
Well, if you remember last year too, they didn't really use Ollie Gordon the first 4 weeks of the season, and then after that, they were like, "Wait, we gotta actually figure out how to use this kid."
That seems like a really dumb strategy to repeat.
Yeah, but I mean, Mike Gundy, his out of conference history hasn't been all that great, but maybe we'll see in conference. But they're all going on the road. Jaquindon Jackson, running back for Arkansas, is he going to have more than or less than 77.5 rushing yards?
More than. So he says less than, I say more than.
I'm going to go more than too. Again, just chunk plays, and I agree with Roy. I think they're probably playing from behind. I think there may be some bigger offensive numbers here.
I'm going less. Our rushing defense is 8th.
All right,
kind of split there. Well, let's go to the other side. Le'Veon Moss to have more than or less than 80.5 rushing yards.
I'm going to say more than because I do think we will get a lead and we're going to start running the football. And Le'Veon has run really, really hard and has looked good this year.
Remind me, what did Jarquez Hunter run for against them last week? 76 yards?
Yeah, I don't think he got to the 80 mark.
Yeah, I think he got to 76. I think Le'Veon's more part of the offensive identity of A&M, more than.
I'm going to go less than.
I expect us to run for 250 plus as a team, so he's got to be there somewhere.
Yep.
If it was Reed, I'm going more than. Moss, I'm going less than. All right.
Sticking with running backs here, Trevor Etienne of Georgia, playing against Bama on the road. Is he going to have more than or less than 70.5 rushing yards?
He's been kind of underwhelming for them, right, this year?
Well, he was suspended for the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Then I think he played a game, what was that, Kentucky, where he was kind of all right. I think he had I think he hit that 70-yard mark in that game, but it was a kind of a wash of a game.
I'm looking at his numbers right here, and he has rushed for 79 against Kentucky, and Tennessee Tech he rushed for 78. So I'm going to go, he's going to go rush for more than 78.5. More than.
I go less.
I don't love Bama right now, like somebody at the end of the table. I'm going to go less, though.
I've got more. I've got Georgia winning this game.
I just said opposite things, but.
All right, let's go back to
into the mic, my friend, please.
Sorry. Cyrus Allen is going to have more than or less than 34.5 receiving yards against Arkansas.
Easy.
More
than.
More. He's the best receiver on this team right now.
Let's go. Moore's all the way around.
Yeah.
Let's flip the script here. Let's go to Arkansas again. Is Andrew Armstrong going to have more than or less than 66.5 rushing yards? Receiving yards?
Yeah, he's got more. He's the guy that they throw to every time. Like they throw to one guy, and it's him. More than.
I'll go more than.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, if I've got Taylor Green going over 183, then I probably need him to go more.
All righty. Then let's go to Colorado. I know, Roy, you love Colorado so much.
Big Deion guy.
Let's talk about it. Travis Hunter to have more than or less than 96.5 receiving yards against.
He's always more than. No matter what number they give me, he's always more than.
Who are they playing?
UCF.
Ooh.
On the road.
I'm going to go more.
Also,
I'm going to go more.
Weather there, the field conditions might not be great. Hurricane kind of, I don't know.
But this is what I know. Deion Sanders looks at Prize Picks and he says, what does Shador need to do in Travis Hunter? And he always goes the over. I'm still going with more than.
I'm going more.
I'll go more.
The resident Colorado hater?
Reluctantly.
Oh, the reluctance is strong with me. I'm gonna go more. I've got a primetime tattoo on my.
Yeah, all right. Well,
I'll go more.
Hey now.
But if you feel better, I like it as well.
Hey,
Roy, I like it.
You give him the ball once and he's get that 70 yards.
Yeah, UCF also struggled against the pass a little bit as well this year. So
see, he led in with the UCF and the rain, but he's like, oh, but they struggled with the pass after we.
But
made our
I'm
picks.
saying there's a lot of variables here. There's a lot of variables. So the last one we're going to talk about today, Ryan Williams, the wide receiver for Alabama. He's going to have more than or less than 46.5
Ryan Williams is only
yards.
17 years old?
I was going to say, he's 17 years old.
Never heard that before.
Did you know his dad was Jeff Kent? Sorry. Sorry. Just
do you room with Colt McCoy?
Honestly, I think this is the easiest one on here. I'm going to say more.
Yeah, I'm going to go more than.
All right, I'm going less.
Yeah, I'll join Hunter just for the crap of it.
There it is.
There it is. That's it.
Hey, Price Picks is fun. If y'all haven't done it yet, download it, do the TexAgs. You get some free credits there. It's awesome.
Tell the people.
Well, I mean, if you sign up using code TexAgs, you just got to play $5, and you're going to get $50 free from them that you could play on anything, right? And also, you got to look at the discounts this week. You got the Caleb Williams free square, which is the last weekend to do it. Over half a passing yard. Look, I mean, as a guy who's watched Bears quarterbacks, not a lot of them have been great, but he's going to get a half a passing yard, right? And then RJ Harvey, this discount's available for the next about hour, 15 minutes. His rushing total against Colorado has been brought down to like 77.5 from 117. So, I mean, there's something you want to get on right there. That's the one. That feels like it's not a free square, but feels pretty free to me.
Because a passing yard for the Bears is still kind of up in the air a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough these days.
It makes watching these games fun because I have an active interest now in what Travis Hunter does, or hopefully Jalen Milroe throws for the less than that I picked. What was it, 100 and 200 yards, whatever it was. I chose the less than. Thank you. Great job. PricePicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs. You get $50 to play once you do $5. All right, right now we'll hit a break. We'll come back with one final segment. FBS Appliance and their team of experts are here to help you find the appliances that make your house a home. They have all the top brands, and they want to make sure that you know that their services don't stop with just sales. They have great skilled technicians when you go there. They have a comprehensive solution that sets them apart from the competition, specializing in providing top-notch sales and installation services for the leading brands, ensuring a seamless experience for their customers. Visit any of their 8 showrooms across Texas or find them online, factorybuilderstores.com. That is factorybuilderstores.com. Check it out. It's FBS. We're back on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Prize Picks fan show here. Now it's time to end the day with Double Daves. Caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Daves. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. Guys, the keys to this game this weekend against Arkansas, Mr. Browning.
I thought about this, and I think to myself, our quarterbacks seem very similar. Not only just because they're both good athletic quarterbacks, but they're also fairly new in their careers. They're both still learning as they're going, and I do think that our quarterback is probably a better passer overall. I think they're both equally good at scrambling. I mean, that kid's athletic.
He can run.
Taylor Green is athletic.
He's fast. Yeah.
He's fast. I think Marcel is as well. I think that like they said earlier in the week, I don't remember who said it, but they're like, just keep him in the pocket. If you can figure out a way to keep that kid from scrambling and getting outside the pocket and making plays with his legs, you should pretty easily win this game. Because if they do the same to Marcel will have a better chance of throwing the ball downfield and connecting on passes than he will. And so I think that's a big advantage. That and our O-line, I think our O-line is better, and I think our D-line is better.
Yep.
And those are the keys.
And probably which one doesn't make the most mistakes, right? Marcel's got away with a few, right?
He has.
Maybe should have a couple picks. He doesn't. I'm going to look to the D-lines. I mean, I think that's Arkansas' strength. Is probably is their D-line or front seven. I think A&M's is obviously better, but I think which D-line can kind of dominate this game, and I expect it to be the Aggies.
I'm going to go super simple. Turnovers. They're going to turn the ball over. We're not. Straight up. So if you can be +2 or better in this game, the rest of it's going to sort itself out. I really do think it will. I'm
not going out on a limb when I say this, but all week long, in my brain, I see a place where A&M dominates Arkansas. I see a 33-10, 33-17 kind of win. And I also see,
but in your
God, here we go again. Yep. Both things hit me. And we'll see where I land tomorrow when we do our pick six. But like in my mind, I'm like, I see a path to beating that.
Something I did think about too is that every year we play them there in Jerry World, we come out just exhausted, beat up. I mean, the years we've been on campus, think about that. 2012, 2020. We played them here in 2020, right? Yeah. Those are our two best seasons we've had in the last 20 years, So I'm looking forward to getting them back on campus. This is the last time, but just don't let this game take everything out of you like it seems to in years past.
The models have it tight, although majority of the models have us winning.
Is it 4.5 right now? What's the
4.5?
Yeah, it's 4.5. The models don't have us covering for the most part, which is kind of crazy. Because again, that's not crazy if you watch these games, right? I like us to cover and then some. I do. I've got confidence in the lines.
I asked McGee and Swope. I asked you guys. We got 2 minutes left. If Florida and Arkansas lined up against each other, who'd win? I think I'd take Florida.
I'd take Florida.
I mean, that Florida team wasn't very good, though.
But they've lost to Miami, who's really good.
Yeah.
Hopefully A&M is really good. Arkansas beat an Auburn team that isn't very good, and they gave away a game to Oklahoma State where they were up big at the half. But is Oklahoma State anything?
I don't know. Where are they playing? That would be the question. I think they're closer than we think, but even just the question, me having to juggle that does make me think we're better. But every year we think we're better, and then we get into this dadgum slogfest with them.
I'd still go more than 4.5 on this. I really would. I like maybe 7. I mean, when you start to get to 7 in this game, that's kind of nuts out.
But if I tell you they're going to control the line of scrimmage, you all feel very comfortable they win the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And that Auburn-Arkansas game last week was difficult to watch. So bad I went to another game. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, that big offensive lineman, his name was it Dan Tipper?
Tipper the Tripper? Something
yeah,
like
Tipper
that?
the Tripper. Yeah, that just popped in my head.
Gentlemen, thank you very much, guys. It was good to see you all.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate
Always, absolutely.
Tomorrow on TexAgs Live, a couple things we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking to Billy Lucci. Yes, he'll be here. We'll have, I believe, Steve McKinney in studio. I don't think we have Seth this week. I think we have SEC Mike. And I don't know. I have to double check. And I know, guys. And we have Olin Buchanan on the program as well. So that's going to do it here for TexAgs Live on a Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you all mañana.